Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank everybody for their attendance today. We will convene the Fayette County Commissioners meeting Tuesday, January 21st, 2014 at 10:01 a.m. Please stand for a moment of silence, please. Please turn for a Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to ask any gentlemen to remove their caps, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have a couple, we have some proclamations and awards. I'd like to ask anybody here for the Through with Chew Week, Great American Spit Out Day, please come up.
No, I was going to let you go first.
Go ahead and read this. Okay, this proclamation is Through with Chew Week, Great American Spit Out Day. Whereas the rate of spit tobacco usage reported by Fayette County high school students, 17%, as per the Pennsylvania Youth Survey of 2011, is higher than the statewide average, 11.5% Pennsylvania Youth Survey 2011. Whereas people who consume 8 to 10 dips or chews per day receive the same amount of nicotine as a heavy smoker who smokes 30 to 40 cigarettes a day. Whereas spit tobacco users are up to 50 times more likely to get oral cancer than non-users. Whereas spit tobacco increase a person's risk of cancer of the lips, tongue, cheeks, gum, floor, and roof of the mouth, throat, larynx, and esophagus. Therefore, declare the week of February 16th through 22nd, 2014 as Through with Chew Week, and Thursday, February 20th, 2014 as a day of the Great American Spit Out. And in doing so, urge citizens to make publicly known the dangers of spit tobacco, and do also urge spit tobacco users to demonstrate to themselves, their friends, and their families that they can quit for the day of the Great American Spit Out, signed by the Board of Commissioners. Would you like to say a few words?
Yes, by urging adults to quit using spit tobacco, we hope to influence youth in Fayette County that chewing can be deadly. Available are posters of our campaign, I'm going to be handing you, as well as campaign buttons that we hope to be able to wear during the campaign week. We have a button of quit chewing and a cow, and it says utterly dangerous on it. So we had this up on a billboard throughout Fayette County to be able to try to get the word across, because we live in the rural area. So I would like to present buttons for you, as well as some posters I have here. If anybody would like to take any posters, you're more than welcome to hang them up in your establishments or so forth.
Sure.
So,
And you can put some here on the desk on this for any members of the public who wants to take some.
no, thank you so much. It's great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, this, well, I'll do this last, the dignity one, because there's nobody here for that. I do have an award I'd like to present to our Chief Clerk. Chief Clerk Reback, if you could step forward, please. Chief Clerk, this award was presented to you at the last County Commissioners Association meeting. It's presented by P Corp, which is the Pennsylvania County's risk pool, and it presents the P Corp Claims Reporting Award to Amy Revac for outstanding claims reporting on behalf of Fayette County, November 2013. Why this is important is because whenever we have a claim or a lawsuit filed against the county, it's the chief's clerk responsibility to notify P Corp, our insurance carrier, in a very timely manner, because they only have so much time they have to respond to this. So the less time they have to respond, the more it puts the county at risk for not being prepared to protect itself against any of the various suits. And this is especially poignant since Ms. Revac is the newest county clerk in the state, and she received this award as doing her job more proficiently than all the other county clerks in the state. So that was a achievement that you should be proud of.
Thank you.
Would you like to say a few words?
Well, I didn't know I was going to, that they gave awards for this, but I do that part of my job as I do every other part. I try to respond as quickly as I possibly can and do the best job I can.
Thank you very much.
And
I would like to add that this is the second time that the county has received this award. The chief clerk, when did you start? About a year ago?
May 14th, 2012.
2012, okay. Prior to that, the individual who was responsible for doing the same job that Amy is doing was Holly Sumi. And so in 2008, 2009, at that same P Corp presentation in Hershey, the county received award. So that was in 2008, 2009, when Holly Sumi was the first one who, within our little realm, we were going through some situations with chief clerks and changes in our staff, and Holly Sumi was assigned for that duty, so she also did that, which is good because that just means that from 2008 to 2012, and now from 2012 until the present, that Fayette County will continue to have our claims reported in a timely manner. And in addition to that, Fayette County also has received dividend checks. P Corp has said that the risk pool is in a strong financial situation, and so they have issued checks, dividend checks, back to the counties. What does that mean? It means that the insurance program is in a strong financial situation. So we're glad that even though it was not a lot of money, they have to distribute it through a number of counties. So we're glad that Fayette County also received that check. So we just have to continue to do what we're doing, which is reporting in a timely manner. Thanks.
The final proclamation is the Dignity and Respect Month, January 2014. Whereas the campaign launched in Western Pennsylvania in 2008 as a internal inclusion initiative of the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center has spread to all parts of the Commonwealth and to states across the country. And whereas the Dignity and Respect campaign was established as a community-based initiative in 2009 to promote and foster a genuine appreciation and acceptance of all people, and whereas dignity and respect, as well as trust, acceptance, inclusion, and diversity distinguished the Dignity and Respect campaign as a driving force for social change across the nation, and 30 tips of dignity and respect highlight the importance of acting intentionally and compassionately toward those in the community. And whereas educational institutions from grade school to higher education have eagerly adopted the Dignity and Respect campaign as a tool to combat bullying and harassment based on race, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, or culture. And whereas the campaign advocates for an environment positively and sportsmanship on and off the playing field through the widely recognized athletics, foundations, sporting events, and league representatives. And whereas the Dignity and Respect campaign work with local and national policy leaders, community representatives, educators, professional athletes, and other thought influencers to spread campaign messages of acceptance. And whereas the Board of Fayette County Commissioners understands the value of diverse population dedicated to family, community, and culture, and encourages an atmosphere of mutual respect and inclusion. And now, therefore, we, the Board of Commissioners of Fayette County, proclaim January 2014 as Dignity and Respect Month in Fayette County, with the intent to support and uphold the campaign's goals in the workplace, schools, community, and country. Motion to accept those.
I make a motion to accept.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And before we continue, in the event that I'm forced to leave the meeting, my father is not doing very well. He's on life support right now, and I want to, be with my family if all possible. So I hope that I have your understanding.
And we'll try to get through the meeting fairly quickly, Vince, to support that. Anything else?
No,
Okay.
just and keep him in your prayers if you don't mind.
Okay. Item number 4, public comments on agenda items.
Again, my name is Catherine Jones. This will be my 3rd time at this podium, and I'm just going to be repetitive because you guys don't seem to want to answer any of my concerns.
Just a couple.
Regarding the prison.
Before you start, if I could say a few words. There are some new people in here, and I just want to reiterate the process we have here. In public comments, either now on any of the agenda items or after the meeting on anything you want to talk about. You can speak up to 5 minutes. We appreciate that you address your comments to the Board of Commissioners. There will be no debate to any of the audience members. We also ask that there be no personal attacks. We obviously don't want to, we will not tolerate that.
Mr. Eberstein, I've
Could I-
been to 3 meetings, and I haven't seen anything like that occur yet. What's this about?
Well, I've stated this in the past. Apparently, you were not at any of those meetings where I stated this process.
I've been to the last 3 meetings. There has never been an incident of debate, personal attacks, anything of the sort. What is this about? Are you trying to intimidate me before I speak?
No, I'm just want to carry a...
If anybody cares to continue their public comments, if they're longer than 10 minutes, we'll be happy to film them in the hall and put them on YouTube for you.
That's fine. You can do whatever you like.
May I continue, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Which, by the way, what agenda item are you addressing?
The Fayette County Prison in general. If you'd like me to pick one and speak on each individual item, I would be more than happy to do so.
Well, I think the only item that we have, I think, in regard to the Fayette County jail is the bank loan. If you want to speak about the bank loan, fine. If not, I would just ask that you keep your comments till the end of the meeting and general comments.
There's more than one. There's more than one item regarding the jail.
May I speak, Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Thank you.
Which one are you addressing then?
Oh, for God's sake, give me an agenda.
It's on an agenda item which pertains to the jail. There are three, you just said that, right? And
Yeah.
there are three items. You're fine. Speak. I don't have a problem with it. And we're spending way too much time arguing over that.
I don't appreciate being interrupted every time I try to speak. May I continue, please? Thank you. In September of 2013, I met in this very room with Commissioner Zapatowski, Commissioner Ambrosini, Warden Brian Miller, to bring their attention to the medical negligence taking place inside the prison. I gave Brian Miller the month of October to respond, which he was ordered to do by Mr. Zapatowski and Mr. Ambrosini. He did not. November meeting, I addressed my concerns again regarding medical negligence within the prison. Again, no official response. December, I was more specific of my allegations. The allegations were more serious. Again, no official response. By the end of the month, we've had another suicide. Here I am again. What are you going to do about the administration of the prison? You are hell-bent on building a new one, selling our neighbors, whatever, renting our neighbors, whatever it is you're doing. What are you going to do to address these concerns that if they had been addressed in September, a young man might still be alive today?
Obviously, ma'am, we cannot discuss an ongoing investigation.
You could, it wasn't an investigation 5 months prior. You had 5 months, 4 months, excuse me, you had 4 months to deal with this, and you did not.
I've spoken to Warden Miller on several occasions.
Why does he still have a job?
If I may, I've
Please.
spoken to Warden Miller on 7 occasions, most recently 2 weeks ago after speaking with Mr. Jones and discussing a matter regarding a former inmate. I'm still awaiting Mr. Miller's response to my request.
I've been waiting since October.
And I do intend to, Mr. Miller was at the agenda meeting, and he had left before the jail had come up on at the agenda meeting where I was going to broach the request that was made. So I do intend on following up very firmly and aggressively on that request because it was a serious matter that was discussed. I can't get into any more other details because they're HIPAA violations that I'd be concerned about because of what the allegations were.
The allegations that the gentleman was dead when he was cut down from the...
No, this wasn't regarding the suicide, man. This was regarding another inmate and the use of a medication that caused for a reaction after separation from the jail. You know, that's what went on, Frank.
Yeah, I wonder how often that does happen. I'm expecting from this body my concerns to be addressed in writing from each. I want everybody to sign off on it.
Your question was, what are we doing to address the...
What are you doing to address the medical negligence within inside the prison that creates addicts, puts them out on our streets for us to deal with?
And you said an overall jail administration, which encompasses the report from the...
I'm still waiting.
NIC as well as the
I'm still
DOC.
waiting to see the November prison
So
board
am I.
meetings online.
I am still waiting for the response from the warden that I specifically asked numerous times and the most recent was the November prison board meeting where he indicated that the DOC was on site and that the report, he would be responding to the report, and I specifically instructed him to provide me with the responses from the DOC, and before he sent his response back to them to review that with me. That was in November. It is now January 21st. It takes more than one commissioner, more than one prison board member to hold anyone responsible. I've asked for it, have not received it. And you're absolutely right.
Who is holding you up
Who was holding me up from doing what?
from getting what you need? You said one commissioner can't do it.
I said one commissioner or one prison board. I asked at the prison board meeting that the information be presented to the prison board and to me. Okay? That was in November. We did not have a December meeting, and thus far we have not had a January meeting. Those matters can be handled and reviewed prior and without having a prison board meeting.
I think it should be a matter of priority, and I think we should put it on the agenda for the January prison board meeting and ask for
Which is tomorrow,
accountability.
is that correct? Is it tomorrow or next Wednesday?
I think it's the 4th or the last.
It's the last.
The other thing is that I specifically asked that a special meeting be held, an executive session. If you need more than one to call for it, you need a majority. I asked the sheriff to call for an executive session to discuss overall jail administration. You need more than one to call on, you need a majority. So you ask who's holding it up? The other board members are holding it up.
Every last one of them. I'm just curious, I'm not,
I sent the email to the prison board members and to the sheriff. The sheriff is the chairman of the prison board. I asked that he call an executive session to discuss overall jail administration and the issues that had just happened. You need more than one to agree to hold the meeting. You need a majority. No other prison board member responded.
understood.
Ms. Jones, I called the sheriff after the request was made. The sheriff's response to me was that pending the investigation, he felt that it would be in the best interest to wait until the investigation by the Uniontown Police Department. I'm just telling you what he told me, ma'am, was completed so that we would not be infringing upon the investigation. I'm telling you what he told me.
And my reason and request for the meeting had nothing to do in reviewing the reports from the state police or Uniontown police.
Well, yeah,
It was for jail administration.
Medical negligence is medical negligence.
The first, I assure you, it's a great concern. The first suicide, Mr. Stevens, Cade Stevens was his name, 25 years of age, which I did go over and actually watch the video, was an abomination. So again, I'm not going to push the political buck on one or two or three other members of this board or the prison board. It's going to take us all working collectively to do the right thing.
The right thing is
I don't think for a minute
how
how
the
this
meeting
Interlink is passing the buck.
No, I'm not
completely accurate.
My son is.
100%. I don't doubt what she's saying for a minute. I've seen you guys in action.
I've gone over I'm over the prison once a month, ma'am.
Ma'am, if you could provide your concerns in writing to us, I'm sure we'll address them.
You know, I did that in September right here in this room with you, Mr. Ambrosini, and you did nothing. Nothing.
You did not give us anything in writing. I'm asking you if you could provide all your concerns in writing, we'll address those for you. If you, your time's up, so if
Oh, my time's up.
I would.
Ms. Jones, you asked me at two meetings ago to meet with me after the meeting. We met, and within a matter of
That was September, Mr.
okay, and the issue that was the inquiry that was addressed was resolved. As I told regarding the one inmate, I'm not going to.
Regarding the illegal medication of an inmate?
I'm telling you about the incarceration, the inmate, the whole 9 years. Now, I'm not a doctor, and I don't want to discuss, again, because of HIPAA laws, I won't discuss the particulars surrounding that matter. I have asked.
Okay, you will.
Okay, I've asked Warden Miller to address that. I just haven't gotten a response back from him.
And that's in 6 months. We pay this man. We pay this man a salary to do a job. And in 6 months, you haven't gotten an answer to your inquiries?
And I'm-
Why is this man still getting a check from us?
Start going moving.
Why? Thank you. Why? Why, Mr. Ambrosini? Why is he still collecting a paycheck?
He's an employment of the county. We're not going to get into personnel matters at this meeting.
Naturally, we're not gonna get into anything, are we?
Yeah, I have a couple agenda questions. Want to move up there?
Yes, please.
Just concerning the agenda items, pages aren't numbered, but it's the one that has, my name is Mary Beth Homestead. I'm born and raised in the city of Uniontown, pay taxes here a lot, moved to Fairchance a year and a half ago. So I grew up in this area, my mother, I brought everybody's here, so I'm very, but consider ratifying the cost of rezoning the Women's Annex for $550, and then above that, to create a website, disseminate information about the new Fayette County prison, and approving a $10 million loan to enhance that annex. Now, my three questions, sir. Mr. Ambrosini, you signed a check dated December 12, 2013 for $550, and yet that is on today's agenda needing to get approved. How could that happen? Was Commissioner Zimmerlin and Commissioner Zapatowski aware that that check was written and dated December 12, 2013? And Clerk Revac, did you know that, and did you let Commissioner Zimmerlin know?
The answer to that question is, we went through the standard invoice procedure. It was signed by the two commissioners. It would have been ratified in December, except that I fell ill.
Right.
I wasn't able to attend the December meeting, so.
That you weren't the one, that's right.
It's on this month's agenda.
Okay, now my second question is, Commissioner Ambrosini, for you, directed at you, when did you physically come in possession of the Crabtree project number 2738? When did you have that in your hand? It was dated December 4th. The actual diagram of the Women's Annex design, it was dated December 4th. And then your December 12th check, when did you physically possess a copy of that, the architectural plans for the women's prison? Do you remember? Did you have that in December? It was dated December 4th, the actual blueprint, so to speak. Crabtree project number 2738.
Actually, I've not seen.
You haven't seen that
I have
yet?
not seen a copy of the details of the specifications for
You haven't-
the female annex.
You haven't looked at them? Because I have a copy of them, and there are so many blatant errors in this that I really thought the commissioners or the clerk would have provided these to the commissioners, because this is his plan and he has the wrong address. Right off, he has existing 23 East Church Street building, proposed 23 East Church Street building. Maximum number of beds, 54, total maximum occupancy, 74. Everything is wrong in here. And yet you have it on here to get money to fund this.
I'm not sure what version you're looking at.
No, I'm looking at the version that K2 Engineering gave me 2 weeks ago that they have on file, and it is dated by Crabtree December 4th. And I'm sure there's been no modifications since this. And in this, it has 2 incorrect addresses. All the square footage is incorrect. There's 3 different square footage in here. So I would have hoped that the 3 of you would have looked at this before you go ahead and try to borrow $10 million more to build this. And he doesn't even have the right address. 23 West Church Street is the central school building, also owned by Neubauer. So are you going to put the floating women's annex at 23 West Church Street in North Iowa Street? And then my third question is regarding that loan. There was a letter written by Karen Sharp in Friday's paper, a long-term employee of the employment office for 25 years, And they painted over the asbestos ceiling tiles in that building after 42 inches of water flooded it in 1972 twice. Now, are those asbestos tiles still in there? Has anyone checked? Because they will have to be, you'll have to have asbestos abatement done, or whatever that term is, abatement. And, my other question was, are you aware of the errors in here?
Well, since
Yeah.
I haven't seen the
Well,
document.
why shouldn't you have seen it if you're going to get more money to put toward this? It just, nothing makes sense.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, Commissioner.
And then I'll make a comment on it. I first learned of the zoning application that
Right.
was signed by the chairman, and a check that was issued from the county for $155 by reading a legal notice in the newspaper that there would be a zoning hearing, and that the county became an applicant.
Did you ask for copies of these from anyone?
Hold on. So that's when I first learned of that, and so I started to go internally to determine how this transpired. To answer your question, if you have those documents,
Yes.
You said that there was a check and everything. Was there an application that was prepared and
Well,
attached to that?
On this page, it is of the,
Because I was told that
Property
Commissioner
owner-
Ambrosini signed the application on behalf of the county. I
there is
don't
the
know.
applicant's signature right here.
Whose signature is it?
May I step?
Yeah,
show you?
sure. Yeah, just
Because I don't know signatures. But this is, I don't know who signed that, but it's dated December 12th.
That's Sal Ambrosini's signature, and
And
it's
then this.
December 12th.
And then it says it's 7 copies of all of this. Should have been at the hearing board last Thursday, 11th, which never happened.
Okay, then it says, so in these documents here, it says attached to this application
Right.
is the
The
plot
drawing.
drawing.
Right.
It's everything.
Yes.
Everything was attached.
Yes.
Okay.
So this document has to be somewhere other than K2 Engineering, and if
Well,
I
someone
could-
had to give K2 Engineering that document. Someone had to walk into the office
Right.
and hand the application, sign it, and take a check in, so we all know what occurred.
And if I can get this so easily, why couldn't anyone else have
Well,
done it?
when I read in the newspaper that there was going to be a hearing, I did specifically ask. Matter of fact, it was on January the 10th. I sent an email to Commissioner Ambrosini, Commissioner Zabatowski, Ken Berkeley, interim solicitor, John Cupp, county solicitor, Kathy Winkler, Nicole Young, and Amy Reback,
Right.
specifically asking them to provide me with 8 documents, okay? Those documents were the Crabtree modifications and any documents relating to Iowa street
Right.
modifications. That was January 11th.
And today's the...
I'm sorry, it was January 10th,
Today's the what?
the 21st.
21st.
I have not received any response, let alone a document, from my fellow 2 commissioners, from the interim county solicitor that's been paid $72,000 in a year and a half that he's been here. Nothing from John Cupp, our county solicitor. Nothing from Kathy Winkler, Nicole Young, or Amy Reback. Not even a courtesy response that says, I don't have it. And we all know that at least one person had the documents because his signature is on it and it's sent in.
What is
So that
going on?
answers your
And
question.
you're all 3 located in the same building, and yet
Doesn't-
you don't know.
Maybe
And-
they'll put it on the newly designed
And yet,
website.
today's Herald-Standard, I hope you've all seen it, shows, and I didn't get a copy to bring, but it has a picture, it's a sinking, I can't remember what the title was, but it referred the photos, the flooding in 2003. I have a photo of 2011 Iowa Street underwater that was taken from an amateur photographer. Clearly, it's a big photo that I have in my possession showing 32 Iowa Street was underwater, November of 2011. It is an active flood zone. The Uniontown paper today had it all highlighted, it's a flood zone. Why would you want to put women in a flooded building that has mold, asbestos, and has been flooded at least 8 times?
Well, when Iowa Street started to get a little bit of traction, because we haven't approved that site
Correct,
yet.
right,
But
right.
when it started to get a little traction, that's whenever I started to ask for the documents.
And you never got them.
Well, I've asked them, I finally put it in writing, which you shouldn't have to, but also, not only, there's been numerous individuals who's either called or sent emails or letters to the 3 commissioners.
Karen Sharp is one of them.
There's a number of them informing us of some of the problems, okay? So that's where this is going now, and
And
why that hasn't been rebuilt yet?
And there's a mystery truck parked outside, at least it was 2 days ago, parked outside Iowa Street, as though ready to unload what's in there or to get to work on it. And it's parked between 2 signs that say no parking, 2-hour limit. And,
No, we can't do anything
yeah,
about that.
I
'cause that's
understand,
city
but it's
parking.
like, something needs to stop. And that's just my agenda stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary
Thanks,
Beth.
Michael.
Yes, Mrs. Nancy.
Under the commissioners, the same 3 topics he was talking about. Are you going to go ahead and spend money on Iowa Street even though you know that you cannot possibly put a prison in there?
I don't know that. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you can't put a prison in there. Everybody in the county knows you can't put a woman's detention center in there. And yet you're going ahead and you're spending money like there's no tomorrow, taxpayers' money, and it's all for nothing. It seems to me, Mr. Ambrosini, the only thing you've done since you've been a commissioner is try to run this county into bankruptcy. Because you're spending money and spending money and spending money for no good reason. Why do we need a second website? We have a Fayette County website. You could put any information about the prison that you want the public to have, which I must say is very, very little. Because you don't want the public to know what you're doing.
That's why.
But you could put the information on the Fayette County website. We don't need to create another one and spend more money. And when you ran for office, you promised jobs. Well, the only jobs I can see you brought to the county is the jobs you created for your friends. Because I don't know of another job that you created. And there's no need to pay this zoning because eventually you're going to abandon Iowa Street. You have to. When the newspaper tells you that it's wrong to consider Iowa Street, there's something that's truth in that because the newspaper sticks up for you no matter what you do, right or wrong. That's all I got to say. It's disgusting.
Thank you, Mr. Any other comments on any of that?
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Charles Bittens.
Yes.
I was in jail in Fayette County from 22nd February to 23 December of this last year. Okay. I know about the healthcare system there. There is none. Unless you have knowledge of people in the cell, in the system up above you, you don't get nothing. You have an attitude. You go in there with an attitude because you're dope sick or withdrawals from narcotics, drugs. You give a nurse an attitude, that's it. They have attitude back and they don't want to help you. I had an incident early in this when I was in jail. I had symptoms of a stroke. Okay? I didn't get to see the doctor until Tuesday. This was a Thursday. It was all brushed, the whole day it was all brushed aside. Oh, we'll get to you. We'll get to you. Oh, I'll tell the nurse. I'll tell the nurse. COs and the nurses. Both spun me. All day long. Finally at midnight, after med pass at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock that night, the nurse on duty came in and said, oh, I hear you have problems. Yeah, I've had problems all day. Well, okay, don't worry about it. We'll get you to see the doctor on Tuesday. This was Thursday. Now, I've had 3 mini strokes in my life. I know what the symptoms are. I've had 3 minor heart attacks. I know what those symptoms are. When I say I have symptoms of something like that, I'm not making it up. I did 21 years in the service, United States Army. Never sick one day in my life. Never called off nothing. But then I come in here and get treated like an animal to begin with. I have no rights over there. I treated like, and I was in jail for child support. 2 6 months consecutively, or unless I can find a job. Now, how are you going to find a job when you're in jail? I know that. You council members should know that. You commissioners know that. Even child support knows that. Domestic relations knows that. I had people out there trying to find me jobs. No answers. And they couldn't even help me. Finally, we got Commissioner Zapikoski with the veterans who finally helped me enough to get out before my February 27th sentence was over. Okay, I was put on psych meds because of the stroke symptoms I was having on that next Tuesday when I saw the doctor. Never had mental problems, never been on psych meds in my whole life. Got out on 23 December. They gave me 5-day supply of this psych med. I ran out on the 28th. I had withdrawals. I had to go to the hospital to get a referral to go to see Chestnut Ridge to get my prescription renewed so I can wing off of it. Because I don't need them. But I was put on them. For what reason? I don't know. Asked the doctor, he couldn't tell me. I got transferred, I got rented out 2 other jails while I was in sentence, incarcerated. I went to Greene County for 15 days, and then I went to Bedford County for 5 months. I was in Bedford County. Their psychiatrist took me into their office, called me into the nurse's office, asked me specifically on a video conference, why am I on psych meds? And I told him the reason why. He goes, you're not depressed? You don't have any suicide thoughts? No. I gave him my reason. He said, well, we have to check into that. I'm still waiting for the check-in. And I'm out. So yeah, there's a big problem with the medication and the healthcare system over there. Brian Miller, the warden, never met the man except the day I got called up to his office for a conference. He didn't even know I was in jail. The veterans didn't even know I was in jail. It's amazing how people don't know I'm in there. And I know for a fact on the streets of Fayette County, people know who I am. Just because of my family members and all the people that helped me protest what I was in there for. Okay, my religion was brought up into this too, which I'm not real happy about either. But that's another meeting. We'll discuss that later, because it's not on the agenda. But like I said, mats, during inspections, prison knows, oh my God, there's a state inspection. They pull mats out of closets, brand new mats. Pull them out, put them in the cells. So when the inspectors come in, oh, okay, everybody's good. Then as soon as they leave, I give it a day, maybe a half a day, all them mats are going back into the closet. You have people over there sleeping on steel, on plastic, hard boats, and also on the floor when they get overcrowded because they run out of mats, they run out of beds, they run out of cots. I know for a fact, I was there. I was down at intake most of my time when I was in Fayette County. 17 people in an open bay you cannot do nothing in. It's a fire hazard, it's a safety hazard. I was there the night the man hung himself, which we can't talk about because the investigation's still going on. But yeah, I was there, I know it. I know what I'm saying is true. What are y'all gonna do about it?
Well, I agree that the facility is grossly too small.
And I know for a fact we can't do any renovations to it because it's a historical building now. Because it's hooked up to the courthouse. Yes, I know it is.
You know, it's just too small, and it's not designed.
Again, I'm not denying that we need a new facility. But if we put a new facility in, what's gonna say the new facility's gonna be running better than what this one is?
That's right.
That's the key.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
it.
Well, there'll be a lot of things that will change.
Like what?
Yeah.
I don't know. I would like to know, if I have to go back to prison, I'd like to know what's gonna change. Because if I don't get my child support paid, I'm going back. Because I can't find a job because I have a felony on my record. Anywhere in this town, you know anybody hiring felons? I have job services out there working for me, trying to find me a job. Guess what? That's how many accounts I got right now. That's how many offers for a job. None. And I'm a veteran. No wonder no one wants to come back to this hometown shit.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, sure. I'll be quiet now because I'm starting to curse. But I want an answer. What are we going to do about it? What are you going to do to change it? If we get a new facility and we get state inmates in there, all that's going to change over there. What's going to happen? I want to know. What's going to help the town health care? If I go back, they put me on psych meds again. That ain't going to happen. And refusal of them is just denial, and then it's against the rules and regulations. I'll be destructive, and they'll throw me in a hole.
Well, sir, let me just tell you a few things that we're doing. I mean, obviously, you know, we're working on building a new facility. So we do have the proper space, the proper counseling rooms.
Who's going to counsel?
The other thing we're doing is we're developing new programs with behavioral health, with even with child and youth services, drug and alcohol. But the kind of one of the things that I'm pretty excited about actually is working with Penn State to develop internships where Penn State will be able to get significant research grants, and in combination, I mean, Penn State already has two programs that lend themselves very nicely to our new facility. One is criminal justice, and one is their psychology programs. So as a result, in their being able to give them opportunities to win some grants, significant research grants, and in combination with the intern program that we're developing, they can come into our facility and develop much better ways to help people such as yourself to know, to be able to assess exactly what you need, and then to help you with options in terms of maybe going out and getting employment, and maybe, not in your case apparently, but other cases. You know, we do have 20% of our inmates do have psychological problems. So there is a need for, you know, behavioral health programs to help those people so they can understand what their problems are, and when they do get released, they don't, you know, fall into the same trap and you know, come back in. Therefore, we can reduce the recidivism and hopefully make productive citizens out of that. But the Penn State program is going to be a significant addition to what we can do now in terms of developing those programs. And
You say what we can do now. What about right now over there? Right now, the people that has a problem, that needs the counseling. There's no counselors over there. All they do over there is say, okay, you're classified, and if you know anybody like Lou and all them over there, very good counselors, don't get me wrong. But if you need a job over there, that's who you need to see. And then they get picked, personally picked by different people. Who gets jobs, who don't get jobs. I have sleep apnea. I have to sleep with a CPAP machine at night. I asked for a job. You know what they told me? Oh, you're a medical risk. We can't have you over there. We can't give you a job. But when I went to Bedford, they gave me a cell block cleaner. I had a job there. I can't get a job here in my own county. I have to go out to another county to get a job just to get commissary money because I'm indigent. There's a lot of people over there that needs a lot more help Not when the new prison's built, right now. What about those people right now over there? What about the kid that hung himself? He got attention when he said, hey, I need help, and he gave a little attitude, and he got ignored. What about that? That helped him out a lot, right?
I can't speak to that.
Of course you can, because it's an investigation. What about the rest of the I just said? What about the other people over there that needs help right now? Counseling, drug and alcohol, and all that. They don't get it over there. You know what your drug and alcohol counseling is over there? Other inmates telling you how to make it, how to sell it, and where to get it. That's what's happening over there. They're still stopping it.
I don't think any jail you go to in the state of Pennsylvania, you know, you're always going to have inmates giving you advice.
Exactly. It's jailhouse lawyers. Guess what? And most of the time, they know more about what's going on in there than what the lawyers do out here.
Sure they do. Well, we have, you know, obviously, as you already stated, we have programs currently, but, you know,
What programs currently?
we need to embark on a continuous improvement.
Exactly. You need to get, first of all, you need to improve it. You need to be made known over there that they have it. And who's in charge of them? Because no one over there knows it. Unless it's Brian Miller and his staff. They all know because it's written right here on a piece of paper for them. But the inmates have no information about it. I bet you ask the counselors over there. They have no information on it. All your hierarchy over there has all the information that is handed to them. And there ain't no process going through. And of course, you can't have it over there now if you want to get the new prison built because you want to put all these new programs in effect. You want to get Penn, why ain't Penn State over there now doing it?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're so volunteering to do it, why ain't they there?
Because there's no space to...
Chaplains used only so many days a week for church. They use it for storage, for commissary every week. What do you mean there ain't no storage? They got conference rooms upstairs. They got a break room upstairs for the guards.
Well, I'm sure you haven't had a chance to see the facility.
Excuse me? I spent 10 months and a day there. I haven't seen the facilities?
Listen, in its entirety, because we actually have office space in what was originally closet space.
That's okay if it's big enough.
It's
Yeah,
not.
you have an interrogation room, you have an
The whole
interview room.
facility.
You have an interview room, which is a closet about half that size of that table right there. You put two people in there and they talk.
All these problems that we have no space,
It's for the prison.
isn't it something that all of a sudden, all of the programs, or CYS, or Fayette County Behavioral Health, everyone else, they all started to say we have no space when? July in 2012, whenever it was said, we're going to form a prison working group.
Exactly.
And
That's what I'm saying.
and we're going to, let's look at building a new jail. Why? All these people who wanted the programs and work here, how come no one said anything about a lack of space and they couldn't do their job or provide any of these programs prior to July of 2012?
Because it's all quiet. Because it's all under a blanket up there, and you cannot go against the system up there. You should go against the system, you go to violence.
I know the answer to the question.
Exactly. So I shouldn't even have to
Havana?
go on.
Now, let me just say this, and you know, I'm going to ask if you could please sit down, and I'll make some additional comments. I appreciate your comments, sir.
Mr. Bennett, may I ask you a question, sir?
Sure.
If I may. I mean, obviously, you spent far too much time there. In your opinion, is the facility inadequate?
Yes.
That's all I want to
You're
know.
overstuffed over there. You got every day,
So-
every night, every day you get more prisoners into that prison hole. That's why we're doing a rental program. So other counties can make money to get their jails up and running.
Is there more than one solution to the problem?
You need one, you gotta stop having a
There's more than one
police
solution
officer
to address
stop
the
doing these
problem.
petty crimes.
Well, we can't
Unpaid
control
garbage
that.
bill, the guy was in there for unpaid garbage bill? $600 garbage bill, you got people over there sitting in jail?
Unfortunately, we don't have control over that.
I understand that, Commissioner, I understand it, but I'm saying, you want to answer, you answer the question was, is there any way of changing things? Yes. Quit picking up the petty stuff, the 2 years, 6 years back of unpaid fines. That's why they call collection agencies.
Overstacking.
Overstacking, you know how many people go in that prison, how
That's
many
because
fit in
they
that
were
prison.
building a prison.
11 cells on each block, except for the basement, and 2 people in a cell. And there's 4 levels, do the math.
We've got about
Okay,
3 other
thank you.
people who want to speak.
People in jail that don't need to be.
Dr. Hernandez. Okay.
Let me address some of the things that Mr. Bittner talked about. First of all, this problem didn't start in December of 2012, or July of 2012. It started decades before. You could go back and look at newspaper articles, and I could tell you in 1992, Paul Sunyak wrote an article in the Herald-Standard that referred to the alarming increases in the population of the prison. In fact, in the article, he stated that 6 out of the last 7, now keep in mind, this article was written in 1992, he stated that 6 out of the last 7 years, they've broken records of the population increase, and in 1992, the record was broken twice. So the population increase started, it's always been going up. Okay? I don't think there's anybody that's going to argue it, and it's not just in Fayette County, it's a trend across the state, that prison populations are increasing, especially in the female side. That's even increasing at a higher rate than the male population, simply because there's a lot of females that get put in the county jails. I mean, these are small crimes, but they're still crimes, enough to get put in county jail. They're retail theft, drug use, and DUIs, multiple DUIs. And so throughout the 1990s here in Fayette County, the commissioners at that time, saw that trend. Now, there was many reports that were done. There were many studies that were done. L.R. Kimball did one, I think, in the early 2000s, 2002, and they all say the same thing. I mean, all the reports, all the studies say the same thing, and it says that your population is going to continue to increase, and you're going to need to do something about it. Okay, now, there was a Band-Aid put on in the early 2000s. There was a men's annex that incidentally was built in the floodplain. That's actually at a lower elevation than the Iowa Street property. I didn't hear anybody complain about that.
They never flood though. They were taken from that building and placed elsewhere, and the other place flooded.
Please, it
It's
never
documented here.
flooded. Now,
No,
so all these studies say the same thing, that we need to build a new facility. There was some studies that were done that said we could build a new facility behind the courthouse. Unfortunately, we do have some subsurface stabilization problems because it is a floodplain, and anytime you go vertical, it's much more expensive because
I know.
you have
I was
elevators.
an engineer for the Army, I know.
Okay, so you know that, if you have to put in elevators, maintain elevators, you have to put in structural steel to support the multiple floors. That's much more expensive than going a single level. And so what we're doing is we're looking at solving this problem as effectively and efficiently as we can. And that requires us to go a single level, and
Same level, I thought we were going 4 levels.
No, no.
But I understand the new prison's supposed to be 4 levels, 2 levels for upstate inmates, 1 to 2 year sentences, and the other 2, 1 to 2 are for county inmates. And that's what I was told when I was incarcerated.
What we're doing is we're going.
Ryan Miller doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, thank you.
We're going a single level with the housing units will have a mezzanine level. That's as high as you're going to go. And it's going to be about a 98,000 square foot facility. And that's as efficient as you're going to go. In fact, this facility will not cost us any more money than what we're spending today, because we're spending money so inefficiently. We're sending inmates, as you well know, all across the western half of the state, as far away as Center County, which is State College. We're currently housing inmates in Center County, Butler, Beaver, Indiana County, Cambria County, Greene County. In fact, I'll give you a little tidbit I've learned here not too long ago, that Greene County has expanded their facilities twice over the last several years.
And we paid for one of them.
And they actually call those 2 expansions Fayette 1 and Fayette 2.
And we paid for
So,
both.
so we're not only paying for their expansion, our taxpayers are paying for other counties expanding their
Exactly, because
prisons.
you're sending the inmates to other counties and we have to pay for them.
Yeah, in addition, we're paying their corrections officers to watch Fayette County's inmates. If we're going to spend taxpayers' money, why shouldn't we keep it here in Fayette County?
Well, many times things are said and put in the newspapers as if it's gospel. So anything that he just said, you need to confirm, number one. Number two, as far as Kimball Architects, they did present the commissioners with 120-bed vertical for $6.7 million. Just thought I heard that it can't be done.
Yeah.
Oh, it can be anything.
Or
If you have enough money, anything can be done.
Well, yeah, if you keep borrowing it, but at $10 million, $6.7 million for a 120-bed facility, vertical.
That's a lot less than 30 million.
And at this rate,
Well, we have a couple, it's 11 o'clock, how many other people need to?
this will be very.
No, that's okay, I'm just saying, this is public comment, so let the public speak and we'll keep quiet.
I listen to words and I hear a lot of words. What I haven't seen is due diligence in your actions. It bothers me. Somebody had to spend 2 days in the library digging around and spend their own money. And I finally said, you've got to stop it. You're going to go broke looking for all this information that she has on the annex. None of that had to be spent. None of that time should have been wasted, and we should not have had to deal with that, because that's the job of the county commissioners who are saying, we're going to do this. There's a whole list of things that should be accomplished before you say, we're going to do this. None of them were accomplished. When you had to have a person off the street go and spend her money and her time to find out that that place has been flooded since 1950, there's something wrong. And they never should have built it there to start with, and I still think there was a scandal back then, because why the state bought that, I'll never know.
Swimmer sold it to them.
Well, whoever. Okay, let me go on.
I'm not sure I understand. Are you talking about?
I'm talking about the annex, which is a microcosm of the larger prison.
The men's annex?
The proposed annex.
The women proposed annex on Pine Street. That is a microcosm of the disaster that you've created with the big prison. To me, the big prison is a waste. You don't need a prison. I have spent enough time teaching to know that buildings do not make an education. Buildings do not take care of therapy. Buildings do not take care of the handicapped. Buildings don't do anything. It's what happens inside that building. Now, you need space. Everybody needs space. There are cheaper ways to get space. You don't have to go around the county and have 23 sites, and every time you find one, somebody says, no, you can't go there. or you can't afford to go there because it costs too much, or because it doesn't have sewage, I'm going to tell you now, stop looking outside of the boroughs and the cities, because nobody has sewage out there. And many of them have no water lines out there. And Fayette is a rural county. You should, before, I talked with someone, one of your people, why in heaven's name are you going out and putting this stuff in the paper, and then it collapses? I spent 2 days talking with people on the phone since I put my phone number in the newspaper. And I tell you people, there's no support out there from what I'm hearing for a brand new prison. There is certainly support for doing something about the lack of space, the problems in that prison, including the medical care. And if we're going to spend money, let's spend a reasonable sum of money. Keep it here where it belongs, because you're not going to get what you need any other place. And without spending money. Money can buy you anything. But how much can the people of this county afford? Your first project was going to cost us someplace close to $60 million if you floated the bond. So somebody finally said, don't float the bond. And I'll tell you what, I don't think you could have floated a bond, given the debt we have and what you wanted to spend. So now, plan B is we're going to borrow $10 million every month. Apparently, because we borrowed $9.5 million 1 month, $10 million the next month, but I think that'll stop. Next year we'll get another $10 million, and next year we'll get another $10 million, and another $10 million. I don't know how long that will go on because I don't have the information. No one shares that with us. We just pay the bills. I will tell you right now that you can solve your problems for under $10 million. It doesn't cost what you want to pay. Now, you want a new building. That's every engineer's dream. I want to build a big place. I want it to be beautiful. And I want it to have my name. And to me, this is the kind of thing that we cannot afford. I really mean this. This has nothing to do with personal people. This is not personal. This is about the future of Fayette County and the lack of thinking about what this county can afford and how the people are going to be able to pay for it. Because in the end, the money is not coming from the federal government or the state government, and even if it does, it's still your tax money, okay? And so we don't need a Taj Mahal. I told you this before. I went to high school in a stadium, but it had marble floors. And now, basically, I'm saying to you that prison is a historic site. It is too small, it is outdated, but that doesn't mean you go and build a Taj Mahal someplace out on farmland. So all I'm saying to you is, we are taking the wrong approach. I am asking you to please reconsider what you're doing and the way you're doing it. It's not working, and it's become almost hilarious to some people. So please stop it. Let's end this. Let's postpone this. Let's sit down and talk about this. Let's look at what are the various options, and let's do it from the bottom up.
We need our own prison working group.
Well, we certainly do. So anyway, thank you.
I will ask you this. Seriously, I will ask you this question. You know, we've done, we've contracted some very professional people in terms of, that's in the business of designing.
Building
There is a
prison.
business of selling things.
Crabtree's built 20-some across the state.
Please,
Yeah.
Evelyn, and I'm perfectly serious about this, if you can provide a plan, and that's what I haven't seen yet. I haven't seen
We
anybody.
have plans. They're better than the one you have.
Yep.
And I can probably
I've
get
not
one out of the repository over there. Nobody reads anything. I was saying
I've
to one
not
person.
seen, no, I've not seen an economic evaluation. I mean, you could talk about, I don't know what buildings are you planning to use.
Please, will you do that? I
I
don't.
mean, you're telling us
Yeah.
that we're doing,
I'm
that
not
we're
going to
doing
ask you
it
as
wrong.
citizens to go do an economic plan and analytical
Well, then-
I haven't
information.
seen an economic plan. Where is it?
Evelyn, hold on here. They hired the Slater Crabtree for $20-some thousand, and then had other RFPs and contracts. Told everyone to wait, to be patient, don't ask any questions, okay? Many people came here and asked questions. What was said? Don't worry about the processes and procedures, be patient, give us time, we're gonna give you all the information you need, okay? July of 2012 till September of 2013. So everyone was patient, okay? Then that information came out, and some of it is flawed. Crabtree, what did it say? That the sewage was included, the cost of the sewage was included at the fairgrounds. Now, come on. Okay, and these are the experts.
Even I knew better.
For any commissioner here, or anybody in a prison working group to ask you or any other citizen to now come up with statistics and information, that's not right. That's not your job to do. It's our job to do it.
That was my point. They're not doing it, and I'm not getting it.
Right, and also in October, I made a motion asking that everything be tabled so that we could look at other options, and did I get a second?
No.
Now, there are some people in here that says that Zimmerling should do more. You can't do more. You need two up here. For the prison board, there's what, 5 of us, and you need a majority. One can't do it. I could have had a second, and we could have possibly explored it back in October. But for the commissioner chair to ask you to come up with a plan and statistics and information, maybe
She stood there and said she had a plan.
I do. We know what
I'm sure it's not going to be as comprehensive as and from July of 2012 to September. My
Our
goodness.
plan was turned about by 5 people.
We can certainly review your plan, whether
No,
it's
I asked
comprehensive or
for
not.
that 2 months ago, and you ignored the motion to get these
Well,
things
not
out.
only that, I asked that we explore other options, okay? So again, let's not even
I
talk
have
about
seen
Zimmerling's
2
other
or 3
options. We're going to go to the citizens. No, you should not be put on the spot in order for you as the citizens to ask to provide documentation and analytical studies. It's ridiculous.
Did the Crabtree study came up with 3 different solutions?
None of which were appropriate.
Right.
Right.
Well, that's your opinion. but that-
It's
you know,
my opinion, and it's the opinion of many of the people in this county who know this.
so that's fine.
But you
Then
know better,
table it so we have a referendum.
and you know better. You know better than the people in this county who are gonna pay the bill.
The Crabtree looked at 3 options: build new, build on site, or don't build.
That was his option.
No.
Those are options.
Those are not exploring alternatives and options.
You know, we can explore 1,000 options. You know, the fact is that it's not only Crabtree Roball that provided, a clear assessment of the direction we need to go in the most economical way, but we've had studies decades ago that all say the same thing and all predicted that we would be in the situation we are in today.
Now they predict weather too. Did you ever?
Now let's be professional here,
I'm being
Evelyn.
professional. I know about consultants, and I know what they do.
But what the projections were 10 years ago turned out to be true. They actually happened.
Yeah, because we are picking up everybody off the street now. Literally.
Yeah, people that don't belong in jail, they belong
Exactly.
halfway house.
Come on,
You
you gotta
had
get
it,
paid.
you had it intentionally.
Look, I'm not going to address the court system. They do an excellent job. They do what they are supposed to do to protect you citizens.
You're lying.
I think people in jail that don't need to be there.
They really don't.
Somebody who don't pay
No,
their child
yeah.
support don't belong in a
Yeah.
cell.
Everybody who comes through our prison
Find them a
doors,
job and we take and pay the child.
it's a mistake. you know.
Sir, I've been there, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, everybody's innocent when they're in jail. I know that. I've heard it. But you know what? There's a lot of innocent people in there that's still in there. Yeah, there's more criminals out on the street right now and in offices. In the city, in offices that need to be in that jail. And I can tell you that because I know for a fact. I lived it. I know.
Let's
Next
let
person.
Just
Mr.
one
Cost
thing.
do it.
I've been holding my hand
This-
up.
Please, Mary Beth.
I've been holding my hand up for 5
Okay,
minutes.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Madison.
Pardon me if but I think we've lost the whole message. I listened to this man make a complaint. Had nothing to do with buildings. It had to do with the treatment he was getting, the mismanagement of the prison. The man was denied any medical treatment for the condition that he had for what, Thursday through
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
He could have been dead.
And you very cleverly switched it somehow to the building. Buildings don't manage. People manage.
They stay there.
So evidently, what they did was, there's no management at this prison.
None.
No proper management anyhow. If you let a man who needs medical attention, or anybody that needs medical attention, sit from a Thursday to a Tuesday, when he needs, what would you have done if the man would have had a stroke and died? Lawsuit? There'd been another lawsuit. You hired a guy here for years to give a report on lawsuits, and I don't see him or hear from him or nothing. We've heard nothing, and here's a man that could very well have sued the county,
Still will.
and well, that answers that. The man complained about the treatment he got. You somehow twisted to a building. Anyhow, it's not the building, it's the people that are important, both in and out of the prison.
Guilty or
And
not.
you don't have any regard for the people out of prison.
We can't treat people, first of all, we can't treat people if we have them in 7 other facilities across the state.
Just look at the out-of-state,
The man
audited
said-
out-of-state number of
Are you
individuals
suggesting
in the
that we
last year.
send?
What does that have to do with
Our
this?
counselors to?
What does that have to do with this problem?
He was in Fayette County,
But he was in other facilities also.
He was-
And he got treatment, you told me. Where were you at the time?
When I had my problem, my symptoms, Fayette County.
Fayette County. So you had mismanagement in Fayette County is what you had.
After the doctor's visit, after the week after the doctor's visit, I was sent to Greene County because I was supposed to see the doctor about my medication. And that morning, they woke me up right after breakfast and said, "Hey, pack your stuff, you're leaving." And I went to Greene County for 15 days. Why? Oops, I got swept under the carpet. It moved out of the county, so it's okay. And then when I came
His
back,
condition was ignored.
and then when I
just like
came back
you
and it
ignored.
came back to light, they moved me to Bedford for 5 months.
No,
And I'm out of the way then.
Out of the way then.
Okay,
And next, and you
Okay,
have
that's
have it.
John.
Are you
Wait a
done?
minute, I have one more
Go
statement.
ahead, go ahead.
And the thing that aggravates me the most is, as a veteran, it irritates me that you treat a veteran that way.
I need to insert, Commissioner Bassini, that you're quoted as saying that at the new prison, you will allow Penn State interns who are majoring in criminal justice and psych to help. You're willing to risk their safety, of those college students, putting them in a jail where they could be attacked or assaulted,
No, they won't be
To
attacked. because
pretend-
They're shackled down, or the prisoners will be shackled
but
down
you're
when you
going to
talk
use
to them.
students as therapists in a new prison? That's insane.
That's how they get the internship. You got to know them somehow.
Okay, John, go ahead.
How we doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Mr. Zapatowski, how you doing? I just wanted to assuage your fears, Mr. Zapatowski. I'm not here because I'm opposed to everything, as was quoted recently by you. I'm very pro problem solving in a cost-effective, efficient manner. So we shouldn't be confused, right?
Very good, sir.
Thank you. I think one or both of you gentlemen addressed the fact that you would entertain a look at alternatives. Is that true? Did you say that, Al?
Sure, you know.
Great. Okay, well, I brought you a little.
We've been doing this the whole process.
Okay.
Oh, really?
When I listen, okay, wait, please, don't, let's.
Let him go.
Please.
Just
My time.
to add to that, you know.
No, you're filibustering now.
I've asked in my email, or my letter of January 13, 2012, I've asked citizens to be involved too. I didn't limit to county
Where did it
employees.
go?
Okay, well, this is.
It was in the newspaper.
Very, very quickly,
It wasn't
because
in
I know
the-
the hour's getting
Go
late.
ahead.
When I listen to you, Mr. Ambrosini, you remind me of that, you ever see those signs back in the old days, all roads lead to Kennywood? That's kind of like all your roads lead to new prison. Now, when you first, you had a Freudian slip right off the bat when you first started talking about that, and you said, we're going to examine all the options, and when we build the new prison, we're going to be so surprised about the efficiencies and the money we're going to save, and that's fine. So my conclusion was you violated the first rule of engineering, which is when you have a problem, you don't start out with a solution and then try to build a lot of facts and pile up a lot of numbers to support it. So you kind of violated that principle.
We did that.
Well,
We did that. And
okay.
for your opinion, we didn't, and that's.
Well, it's really not opinion because you said it yourself. You said when we, yes, Ms. Zimmerman?
In that email that he
I
sent,
said-
it actually says in there, let me go, and this is almost verbatim.
was
It
in my
says, let
mail.
me go out on a limb and say we might have, we will be building a new
No,
prison.
no,
It
no.
says that in there.
What it does say.
You did, Al. Come on.
It did say it. It
Well,
did
You got
say it.
100%.
It said.
Moment of truth.
It said
Moment of
that.
truth. That's your choice, right? That's where you want to go.
It said
From
this.
the get.
What I said, John, is.
I heard what you said. I listened to
I
you.
said, I will go out on a limb and say, we may have to build
All
a
right.
new prison.
Well,
I didn't say we will.
we won't quibble over that. In my conversations with people who are concerned about this, many folks believe that option one, that is existing facility, plus, I know you think that vertical is such a problem, but as an engineer, again, you should know that that's not the case.
It's not a
You
problem.
have
It's
you
not a
have
problem
these
at all. It's just
monumental
not-
structures that weigh a gazillion tons, and they haven't sunk into the ground at all, right? We're talking about the courthouse, right? We don't have a subsidence problem or anything like that. Building's not all crooked and
We
cattywampus.
could build a 20-story building there. The problem is, it's just too expensive.
No, it's
Per
not.
inmate.
No, it's really not. But anyhow, further discussion on option one. You need to dust off the Kimball report. You need to explore the fact that you're not going to be developing new infrastructure in as yet unnamed place. And, right, we don't even know where this place is going to be yet. You don't have to dig a pipeline from here to who knows where for the effluent from the sewage plant. So the opinion is we can realize a lot of savings by using county properties, existing county properties, minimal infrastructure development compared to plan to your preference. We think that because it will require less money, you will be able to borrow at a shorter duration and therefore save significant money in the debt service. So let's put our money where your mouth is. You said that you would examine alternatives. Let's get a motion here to examine some alternatives. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Any other comments on agenda items? Yes, sir.
Hi. My name is William Jones, and just listening to everything that has been said, my comment is going to be very, very basic, and because upset at what some of the things I'm listening or coming from you specifically. I too am a veteran, and one of the things that I learned early on, I served 9 years in the Air Force, and left as a staff sergeant. When I was a young airman, one of the things that an old chief master sergeant had taught me, he took me under his wing, liked me for some reason. taught me is something called the 6 Ps. And what that means is prior planning prevents piss poor performance. That's plain and simple. And that is something that stayed with me all these years, something I've taught my kids that. And I'm not hearing any of this here. I'm not hearing any prior planning, at least not legitimate planning, you know, and it's leading to piss poor performance.
That's right.
You know, with all these different areas, shutting it down, and you know, and the thing is, it's all very basic to me, in the fact that whether you want to build a new prison or not, you know, you need to decide which direction you're going to go, and then once you decide that, how are you going to accomplish this? And we have to be involved because it's coming out of our pockets, you know, as far as a referendum is concerned. So,
Article in the paper ain't gonna help.
you know, and so again, is like I said a moment ago, prior planning prevents piss poor performance. And
I'll keep that in my head.
that's something that I've lived with all these years. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Would you gentlemen like to, before, since you're going to vote today on the funding for the women's, not 32 Iowa Street, would you like to see the photo where it flooded November 23rd, 2011? This one wasn't in the Herald-Standard today. Today had some from 2003, I believe. This is the most recent flooding of Iowa Street. November, taken from, and this shows Iowa Street underwater in November 2011.
Okay, yes, Mr. Chris.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'll start at the top of this. Consider approval to advertise an RFQ to create a website. I agree with one of the masters, I forget what, when you find people said that. Why would you waste money to do another website when you got one up and running already? I don't even know how up to speed your website is right now.
Because our current website doesn't talk about it.
Is it up to
Put it on there.
well, let's stop with that. Is it up to speed on everything else in the county right now? Let's forget about the prison. Is it up to speed, your website, on everything the county has to offer and do?
No.
Well, there shouldn't even be a reason for that. We have an IT department, you have chief clerks, you got lots of employees, but nobody can sit down and put some information. When was the last time that that website was added to or corrected or done anything? How long ago?
Actually, I was the one who put the website up and put the general pages up, and then met with every department head on a monthly basis to make sure that they were up current. And there's a email from the 2 commissioners from the past administration that says that Zimmerlink is no longer responsible, and that all any changes and updates to the website is to be done by the IT department. From that point on,
And what date was that? I guess?
somewhere between 2008 and 2012.
So that's for your information.
So we're talking about multi-years that nobody can, I have a website. I know what they're about. You add, you delete, you take away. You don't even sit dormant for 4 years. And now, Al, you want to say, let's create another one? If you can't keep up to speed with what you have now, why would you create another one if you got employees that can't add to it now or go through help? Why another duplicate?
And not only that, Commissioner Ambrosini did direct, and from what I understand, there's only one commissioner who directed it, maybe the other one did as well, to update the web page concerning the board appointments, and it's incorrect, and that was just done 2 months ago. So it's not so much of putting a website up, it's putting accurate information and up-to-date information.
So, personally, I think waste of time, waste of money. Utilize what you got now, save us some money. We all know websites are important, no question about it. Let's go to 2. Consider ratifying the cost for the $550. Again, why would you waste $550 on something when you've been proven to? It's a total loser of a site. It's a total no-win situation. Why do you want to flush $550 more down the commode on this subject? Al, you either lied to immensely on that building in a situation, or you were naive about it. All these good people that did free investigative work for you weren't part of your prison working group. They took time out of their own schedules, own lives, and went and did some very basic work. But it took time. You should commend and be thanking these people for that. not ridiculing them and demeaning them and degrading them. You've not listened to not one cry from the public on this subject. None. And you had some very educated people talk and come forth. Don't ask Evelyn for a damn proposal. That's not her profession in life. She's giving you wonderful ideas. Many of these people have, including me. Let me finish. I come here the first time, and I offered my view of the Greensburg prison as a site. I didn't need to be ridiculed in the paper the next by Jim Killinger and such for just bringing up an idea. I think that's what everybody's had. You call this obstructionist because we have a different viewpoint. We're not against you or her. We're against our money being pissed away, and that's exactly what it's being, and it's becoming nothing.
Again,
The Iowa Street, forget the Iowa Street, it's a loser. Look at the names it's been called. Stilted Women's Annex, you see the proof. Move along, you made a mistake or you got some bad recommendation. Don't flush 550 more down the drain. Let's go to 3. $10 million to borrow money for new prisons. Al, if you would have said from the start we needed $10 million to put an annex on that building or put something close to the jail, I think you would have never had one bit of opposition of your kind. But when you want to start playing with 30, 50, and $100 million on pie in the sky crap, you're dreaming out. You're not going to rehabilitate people in a building. Everyone said it eloquently. Buildings don't do that. It could be done right now. To build a new building, if you're going to solve all the problems of the criminal world, is never going to happen. It's not. There's other ways to spend our money more efficiently, and these people have proven that. Many alternatives. Yes, they have. They've crunched their numbers, they've done their work, and they found other things.
I've heard a lot of ideas, I've heard a lot of opinions, but I've not seen any
You ever seen proof? Look what the proof Crabtree is giving you for 24 grand. They don't know their facts on the buildings they're building. They wanted to give you a parking garage for the family. They don't have no proof or no facts. They're just throwing things at the wall because they were paid $24,000 to provide a service for you. Now, you've got wonderful people in this community with good ideas who are willing to share them with you and do it for free. But they don't want hit over the head, they don't want ridicule, and they don't want lied to. And on that note, when I come here that day, I asked your architectural team leader, Killinger, is that site going to be at the county airport? He looked at me and said, no. The next day, it was on that list in the paper.
Oh, we have a lot of...
Hold it. I was specifically lied to on a question in this room. I asked you, and you didn't want to answer. Killinger finally coughed it out and said no. I don't like being lied to. Now, I want to Killinger something. Now, let me think. Let me have my 5 minutes. He lied to me.
It's not going to be on the airport.
But that day he lied to me and said it wasn't, and the next day in the paper,
It was on the list.
It was on the list the next day.
Al, the man lied to me. He lied to me in this room in public. B, Mr. Killinger, it is going on. He's got a short fuse. He's arrogant with people. He doesn't care about his opinions. And B, I'm not beating him up. I'm talking facts. He has tried to strong-arm supervisors in his community and to put him in jail when they want him. He's like a loose cannon running around doing the same whatever he wants to.
That's your opinion?
It is my opinion. But he lied to me. And an employee or one of your...
I don't see where he did.
I asked him a direct question here, Al. He said no, it wasn't going to be on the airport. Next day in the paper, I'm reading Patty Yauger's story. There it is, right on the airport. I don't need to be lied to. So everything we've got as the public is either half-truths, lies, or BS. Yep. And we're trying to give you facts and help you and go along with you, but you're fighting us.
If you would look at all the properties that were published in the paper, that site is still, the airport site.
It wasn't the day I asked him to his face here. He lied to me. There was a story in the paper from her about that.
That property was on the back side of the airport was on the list
Then why didn't you just say it?
Almost from day one.
Al.
Because you said, are you gonna build it on the airport? He said no. And he was-
I says, is the on the list, is the airport on the list? And he said, no. You're blowing off to me, it's lying to my face. And I don't like being lied to. So Al, my opinion is, listen to all these good people who are trying to help you with this. Don't, Al, are you listening? Listen to the good people in this community. Listen to the people who supported you, who cared about you, and put you in that seat. Because so far, you've not done that.
Any other comments on agenda items?
Can I talk about the appointments?
Yeah, it's on the agenda.
It's on the agenda. One time I did ask what you think, how you think people that is put on boards should do. What is your opinion? When you appoint people on Fayette County Housing, Health Center, what do you expect out of them? That's what I want to know. Mrs. Zimmerman, you want to tell me? You've been on boards.
What do I, as a commissioner, expect
Yes.
when I make a motion
Yes.
to put someone on the board?
Yes.
That sometimes get a second and gets through, or what are you asking?
No. What do you expect out of that person?
I expect the duly appointed board member to understand the goal and the mission of that particular authority or board, and to carry out what that goal and mission is, and to speak on behalf of the county, on behalf of the citizens street, and on behalf of the county commissioners, to think independently, to do their homework before they go to a meeting, so that that if they don't get the information, there are some board members who don't get the information, they need to do everything that they can to get the information and to be fully knowledgeable about the item that they are being prepared to vote on, and to make sure that they attend as many meetings. So sometimes you can't attend some, but to attend as many meetings as you possibly can.
And you also hope that they do the right job, right?
Well, definitely they need to.
Not jobs behind the scene and whatever.
Right.
I want to tell you, I'm on the Fayette County Housing Board, which I'm very proud of that board. The reason I wanted on that board was because it is the whole community you're looking at. You're looking at housing for people that don't have. How can you justify a person getting a position? The month before that, anybody was interviewed, I made a statement by the paper that I already knew who was going to be hired. So I said, why do you even put these people through interviews? Because you already know who you're getting. Was that in the paper? Because our chairman looked at the newspaper person and said, don't put that in the paper. Okay? The following meeting to appoint, we were going to interview, I did not go. Because I already knew who was going to get it. It didn't matter that 14 people put in for the interview. All right?
You're not talking about putting on the board.
Interview for the executive.
Okay, I just want clarification, I'm sorry.
Yes, that's what I'm talking
Okay.
about. Then you get a bill that it was done in November before anybody even knew or was interviewed. Are these the kind of people that you're appointing to the boards?
Yes.
Evidently.
Yes.
You know, I'm not the best person in the world, but at least I try to be honest. Guess what? I haven't found too many honest people in this world on boards because things are done behind the scenes.
Always.
And I'm tired of it. So when you pick appointments today, I hope to God that you pick good people that's going to sit on them boards and act intelligently. When you start a meeting at 9 o'clock and you say it's going to be at 9, you can verify it. I sit there till 25 after, or 9:30. And it's all a big joke. No professionalism at all. And you know what? And I know people want me off of that board, and guess what? I'm going to be sitting there. And there is going to be a lot more coming out over this. I can tell you.
Keep it going.
It's the pastoral.
They're having coffee and donuts while the public is sitting and Mrs. Bill's sitting at the coffee. You know, it's sad. It's sad when you do things like that, because there was 14 people, I understand, to put in, you know, to be, well, you have the chairman and you have the secretary giving points to whoever came in. Well, if you know in November who you're going to hire, why would you even interview? Just put the person in. That's what I said at the meeting, and she did not even put it in the paper.
Did you interview all 14 people?
I did not interview anybody because it came down to 2.
Well, you're a board member, isn't that your responsibility?
That's my responsibility.
You just said
Interview.
why you
Why would
didn't
I
interview.
go and interview when I know who the person was that was getting it? Now you tell me, Mrs. Zimmerly.
Commissioner Ambrosini knew you didn't interview because he asked George Zanesco during the interview.
Well, I could care less. I have a
The
sick
point of
granddaughter
Mrs. Bill
that's
is-
3
I did
years
not know
old.
how many people she interviewed.
Hey,
You said.
first of all, how many did you interview for these boards? How many did you interview?
I interviewed, or I had
Only who you
personal
wanted to.
assistant sit in.
Only who you
She's not your
wanted
personal
to.
assistant.
Or my
That's-
administrative
she act-
assistant.
Yeah, you act like she's your personal assistant.
She's my administrative assistant.
Administrative assistant.
And so.
She did sit in on a few for Commissioner
That's
a few for
disgusting.
Commissioner
It is
Ambrosini.
disgusting.
She did sit on a few for Commissioner Ambrosini, but she's not.
I'm-
Hold on, Mrs. Bill, because you asked the question and he did. But she doesn't vote, okay? She did what she was asked to do, and she asked some questions on his behalf, and she did a good job in doing that, okay?
Oh, I
And we
don't
can't,
know.
you know, she was asked to do that. But the point is that your question was, who interviewed? The 3 commissioners are doing the appointments today, okay? I interviewed all of them, all right? Commissioner Ambrosini had his assistant, the administrative county paid assistant, interview some. She sat in as I interviewed. He interviewed a few, and I can give you the number, and Commissioner Zabatowski did not interview any. But we will be making the appointments later
How
on
can you
today.
vote for somebody when you
I
don't?
reviewed their backgrounds, we know who they are, and I'll be honest with you, we were having some medical problems, and I'm not gonna lie
And I
about
just want
it.
to say one thing. On the day of the interview, of the 2 that I knew who was getting it, my granddaughter had to go to Children's Hospital, 3 years old, for a seizure. That is why I wasn't there, Mr.
Well, you said
Anderson.
they had already pre-picked them, so why?
It was already.
Yeah, it was already picked.
Okay, any other public comments on any of these? Seeing none, we'll go to item number 5, Behavioral Health Administration. Consider approval of the following agreements and modifications as listed.
Make a motion, I'm sorry, on all the modifications?
Yes.
So I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider approval to exercise the lease purchase option on a 2011 Ford Explorer leased through Ford Motor Credit Company for $18,231.60 for Fayette County Behavioral Health Administration to replace a vehicle that is being retired.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approval to advertise for bids for the lease of one 2014 Ford Escape or equivalent model for Fayette County Behavioral Health Administration to replace a vehicle that is nearing lease end.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider approval to advertise for bids for the lease or purchase of a new telephone system for Fayette County Behavioral Health Administration to replace an aging system.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 6, Children and Youth Services. Consider ratifying a fiscal year 2012-13 purchase of service agreements between the County of Fayette through Fayette County Children and Youth Services, Fayette County Juvenile Probation, and CRC Health Group, doing business as White Deer, doing business as, and for the following rates.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider ratifying a fiscal year 2012-2013 purchase of service agreements between the County of Fayette through Fayette County Children and Youth Services, Fayette County Juvenile Probation, and Western PA Child Care LLC as listed.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider approval of the fiscal year 2013-14 purchase of service agreements between the County of Fayette through County Children and Youth Services, Fayette County Juvenile Probation, and CRC Healthcare Group at rates listed.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider approval of a fiscal year 2013-14 purchase of service agreements between the County of Fayette through Fayette County Children and Youth Services, Fayette County Juvenile Probation, and Twin Pines Family Services at listed rates.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approval to accept the RFQ 13-05 of Slater Engineering for the addition of the CYS building.
I'd move to table this. There were more than one, according to Gina Diaria, the executive director of CYS on Friday. She said that there were more than one engineering firms, and she and her staff selected Slater Engineering. I'd like to table this so the commissioners can have an opportunity to review the rating process for this RFQ.
She had said that the other firms that bid were Allegheny County firms and were double in cost, I believe, so.
Well, this was an RFQ. She doesn't know what the cost is.
Well-
She said that she didn't negotiate their fee yet. And this is not just for the, my hesitation is not solely just for the cost, but the selection of the RFQ. And she doesn't have a cost. She said that on Friday. She doesn't have any fees.
Well, I think she had mentioned that there were double in their design.
Their design budgets.
Yeah.
Well, I made a motion to table.
Actually, not only the design budgets, but the cost of the total project.
Yes.
I made a motion to table.
I think she provided us enough information.
No, she didn't, because I specifically asked her some of the information, and I had to call her, and we talked probably until 4:45 Friday.
Is there a second up there?
No, I believe she provided us with ample information. The building needs to be done. We're cramped for space. There's filing cabinets all over the place there. Well, unfortunately, it was designed improperly. That's the problem. It wasn't designed properly, and it needs the space. And we've hired additional staff working on adoptions, dependency cases. Again, I'm well familiar with this.
We're not discussing the whether or not the addition is needed or not needed. It is to award the request for qualifications to Slater Engineering. That's the issue.
I think we need to
So
look.
to continue the delay would continue to be a delay in the final outcome, which is the completion of the addition, which is desperately needed and has been needed for the last 2 years.
They have to come, Slater has to come back because we have to negotiate the fee and approve it.
I
This is just-
understand. Again, this is, then we obviously can nip it in the bud at that point in time. But for right now, let's continue with the let's continue with the progression. And if subsequently we see that we're not satisfied, then we could stop it from going.
I would prefer to.
I move to
have
table.
Is there a second to the motion?
Come on, you cowards.
Come on.
Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of a second.
I'll make the motion. It's an important motion to get this addition built for,
This isn't building it. This
it's
is
the
award-
start of the process that needs to be initiated.
This is awarding it to a particular firm. You made the motion.
In addition, folks, you know, we're renting space outside, so.
Yeah, I
you know,
forgot about that.
As long as we're.
You know, everything is hurry, hurry.
It's not hurry, it's just getting.
This has been a two-year problem.
Everything else backwards.
My favorite word.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion carries.
Of course.
Consider approval of the 2013-14 purchase of service agreements between the County of Fayette through Fayette County Children and Youth Services and Adams Attorney at Law. The rate is $25. Let's see. Parking spaces are numbers 21, 38, 39, and 41. The rate is $25 per parking spot for a total of $100 per month.
I'll make the motion. Our employees are parking there and they're getting ticketed, thus the need to rent the spaces.
What happened to the parking garage?
Yeah, there's a parking garage.
It's more expensive actually when you break it down.
More expensive than paying a ticket. I'll keep that in mind.
I mean, than paying the rent.
I think we need to take some of these.
I second the motion. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
It's more expensive.
Item 7, the Controller's Financial Condition of the County Report. Mr. Controller Lally.
Commissioners, dated this 21st day of January 2014, in our checking account with United Bank, we have $8,273,395.97. Funds which are owed to the general fund listed on the sheet are $1,452,260. ARC payments due as listed, $234,171.17. Central service payments as listed, $78,686. Funds that the general fund owes is a loan to the Marcellus Shell of $1 million, a tax anticipation note of $9.5 million, totaling $10,500,000. For the budget year net position as of today, it is a negative $461,486.86. Total 2014 revenues brought in thus far are $302,083.17. Total 2014 expenditures are $2,065,783.46. Revenues that are being paid in 14 that were incurred in 13 are $955,556.43. In our capital reserve fund balance, we have $38,729.51. In our bond fund balance, we have $209,076.24.
Mr. Lally, the temporary loan to CYS, that's a recent allocation?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Controller. Item 8, the coroner. Consider approving to advertise RFQ for body transportation services for the coroner's office for the County of Fayette. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item 9, courts. Consider approving a lease agreement between the County of Fayette and the City of Uniontown for 2 years at 80 Northeast Avenue, Uniontown, for the temporary central court location, with rent being $1,500 a month.
And it has lease renewal options, correct? Correct. Is there anything, you don't have anything to add since Friday?
No, I have nothing to add, just came in case there was any questions.
No.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
May I make one comment, though? I am going to give Mr. Bittner, and I'm only referring to him because he was here, I'm giving you my office number because the courts do have a very good veterans program, a mental health program that has just started up, and we have a very good veterans associate that's working with them. I'm going to give him my office phone number, so I don't know when he was in the jail.
Yeah,
just those
actually,
days.
I called you
Yeah,
that
well,
one
she-
Friday, it was at about 3:45, regarding my discussion with
It was
Mr.
like-
Zidek. I just want to let you know that I did speak with you about the individual in question.
So I'm going to give him the office number for somebody in Allegheny County who actually, because we are copying their program and we're trying to implement more of their program into this county with services that we don't have available with our veterans program and such. So I'm going to give him my number so that hopefully we can assist in that a little bit more. The only other comment that I would like to make is because the commissioners are taking the brunt of putting people in jail, and the commissioners cannot put anybody in jail, it is the courts. And the courts do not put anybody in jail until it's the last resort. And all of our judges are very, very diligent on keeping the people out of the jail unless it's necessary, regardless of whether or not it's a dog violation, domestic relations, or anything of the kind. So Brian will give this and thank
But
you.
Tammy, as the court administrator, since you brought the subject up, you have to admit, because you've said it as well as we've had, I have numerous documentation from the court administrator's office and others of having individuals not being released properly in a timely manner, and those being released that should not have been released. So there is
Correct, there's always
no doubt
issues.
a jail administration problem in that regard.
And I've always agreed with that
Thank
also.
Okay, thank you, Tammy. Item 10, Human Resources Department, under CYS, consider ratifying the resignation of caseworker 2, David Hickson, effective December 20th, 2013.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Under fact, consider ratifying the resignation of part-time bus driver Jonathan Pierce, effective December 20th, 2013.
Move. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider ratifying the hire of Dale Gregg, Kenneth Lowry, and David Yager, each a part-time bus driver, at $11.40 per hour, effective January 6, 2014.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Under Fayette County Behavioral Health, consider approving the 2014 Fayette County Behavioral Health Administration Compensation Plan for the period of January 1st, 2012 through December 31st, 2014. The annual pay increase increment will be approximately 3%. The longevity increment will continue to be a movement of one step, approximately 3% on the approved salary schedule.
Move.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Information technology, consider approving the 350-hour volunteer communication and technology internship of CalU student James Zackle, effective January 21st, 2014.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Under prison, consider approving the 120-hour volunteer internship of Seton Hill criminal justice technology major Tyler Sanders, effective January 21st, 2014.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Under tax assessment, consider ratifying the resignation of Assessor 2 Sharon Basinger, effective January 2nd, 2014.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Under tax claim, consider approving the transfer of Patricia Tegg from the Fact Transportation Information Specialist position to Tax Claim Accounts Clerk 1, position at SEIU, pay grade 3, step A, at $10 per hour, effective January 22nd, 2014.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item 11, Office of Human and Community Services, under Fact, consider approving Fact's Title 6 program for the FTA.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider approving submission of FTA certificates and insurances for the FFY 2014.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approval to advertise a bid for interior renovations to the call center at the Fact Transit Center at the Joseph A. Hardy Connoisseur Airport.
Move.
It's not at the airport, the FACT Center is not at the airport, it's, they just say the FACT Transit Center located on Route 119.
It's actually located on airport property. In fact, they,
Yeah, but it's not. Okay, go ahead, fine, fine.
in fact,
I know it's, go ahead.
Well, I'm not,
It's-
we'll make it Joseph A. Carnival Airport / Route 119.
is there a motion?
I made the motion.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider approval to advertise a bid for parking lot upgrades at the FACT Transit Center at the Joseph A. Hardy Connoisseur Airport, Route 119.
Yep, make the motion.
At 119 facility. Second.
All those in
At the
favor?
119
Aye.
facility.
Motion carries. Consider purchasing 3 12+2 passenger Ford buses from Rower Bus on state contract 4400008420 for a total cost of $187,317.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item 12, Planning and Zoning. Consider approval to submit a grant application to the U.S. Department of Justice for adult probation to enable the county's adult probation office to undertake a performance review of professional services. Grant amount requested is $5,000.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 13 under Commissioners. Consider a motion to approve the November 19, 2013 regular Commissioner meeting minutes.
If there's no objection, perhaps we can do the approval of minute meetings on one resolution. Is there anyone who...
I'm sorry.
If there's no objection, we can put all of these approval of the minutes, unless someone's going to not vote to approve.
I have no objection.
Okay, I'll move to approve the November 19th, 2013, December 17th, 2013, December 20th, 2013, December 30th, 2013 Commissioner meeting minutes.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approval to advertise an RFQ to create a website to disseminate information about the new Fayette County Justice and Rehabilitation Center and the Women's Annex.
Move.
Second, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Again, nay. Again, first off, we do have a county website. We have the framework already set up. It would be adding some additional pages and then putting the information on. We don't need to spend any of the extra money. The money for this, to do an RFQ and to have this done, no money has been budgeted in the 2014 budget.
Actually, that's incorrect. It has been budgeted.
Where? That was never discussed at any of the budget meetings, and I was at all of them. I was at all of them. I was not. Oh, you mean the one when it was not budgeted?
Again, I think the only purpose of me making the motion is to understand what the capabilities of this website can be, whether it be advantageous to the community. It doesn't mean that we're going to do, well.
It does.
Yeah, it's over right now, and I will tell you this, if you want to pay for it out of your own pocket,
Please, may I have the floor? My purpose for advancing is, I think, is we all have discussed, this project has a great impact on the community. There's a lot. Again,
I know you don't like it, but I can't help it because I'm listening to this thinking, my God, there goes more money that we don't have to spend. We spend it on...
You've got a website.
We're not in the comment section. It's not a debate.
Again,
we're trying to get through the business of the county.
Well, with emotions...
If I see that the proposal and the discussion with whomever presents is not adequate, I will not support the item.
$1 spent is too many.
Okay, please.
You're duplicating what we already have
This
set
doesn't
up.
spend anything, this just.
It will.
It will, Vince, come on, you can't go into our spending money.
Let's have some order here.
It does spend something because you have to put the ad in the
Advertise.
newspaper.
Okay, I stand
Request for
corrected
the
on that.
qual, so request for the qualifications. And then also remember that this is for a request for qualifications, which would mean then whoever responds, then you have to negotiate what the fee is going to be. So I would hope that it comes back for a vote, but that remains to be seen.
Wasting time and money.
How is it in
Consider-
the budget when you didn't know? you
Consider
were gonna have a
ratifying the
website?
cost of rezoning the women's annex at Iowa Street for $550.
Yeah, ignored me.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, I didn't.
Consider ratifying the cost of rezoning the women's annex at Iowa Street for $550.
Save your money.
It's already been paid. It's already been paid.
Sorry.
December 12th.
Well, we should
It's
get
a ratification.
December
Move.
12th.
Second, all those in favor?
Okay, let's see the
Aye,
nays.
motion carries. Consider approving the acquisition of a $10 million tax-exempt loan for the Fayette County Justice and Rehabilitation Center, the CYS building addition, and the women's annex renovation.
Absolutely not.
It says approving the acquisition of a $10 million tax-exempt loan, which means that you were approving acquiring a $10 million loan. It appears that that information has already been, I mean, you first have to advertise. You have to seek some proposals from banks. What this says is to approve the acquisition of the $10 million loan. So there's...
Controller Lally, would you care to
There's no-
elaborate on that?
Sure. What the county is trying to do is actually secure a tax-exempt loan for the purposes of erecting a prison. This is an alternative to floating a bond in the amount of, say, $30 million hypothetically. In the floating of a bond, you'll incur approximately anywhere from $550,000 to $800,000 in fees just to take it to market. On top of those fees, you have to pay counsel, and you also have to insure the bond against any default in the event that the county would do something like that. All told, to float a bond, you're looking at about $1 million in cost. This methodology of financing takes out $10 million maximum increments over a 30-year amortized life. It's like a HELOC, which is a home equity line of credit. You actually incur no expenses until money is spent. The money sits in escrow, collecting a ridiculous nominal rate of interest of about 0.5%. That way, the debt service is incremented into successive annual budgets instead of doing a lump sum distribution of $30 million. The net effects of taking a $30 million loan at 4.5%, assuming that's our rate, is that we would be losing 4% annually or paying $1.2 million in cost for 2 consecutive years while a new prison is being constructed. That turns out to be $2.4 million of taxpayers' dollars. The overall general function of this, the pros are the interest is only used as a third, and the interest rate, because it is a tax-free loan, is lower than what it would be in the regular market. We've had quotes anywhere from 2.75 to 3.8, depending on what time of they're moving in and out of the market. That's the positive effects of doing this in increments instead of taking one lump sum distribution.
The point is you're still going to have to borrow, the county will still need to borrow $30 million because that's the amount that Crabtree stated is needed to build the new jail. So it sounds good that you're only borrowing $10 million today, but if the cost of the project, as per the expert Crabtree had indicated in the study, is $30 million, you'd still have to borrow another $20 million.
And I clearly indicated that. What
I'm
I'm
not
trying to
arguing with you
elicit
with that.
is the fact of cost savings that will be developed from taking $10 million increments over a one-time distribution. And if anybody's paying any attention, we have to also factor in the impetus for interest rates to rise. The federal government has stopped buying bonds. They're reducing the amounts to the point where they're no longer going to stimulate the economy, and when that happens, interest rates will rise.
Well, there hasn't been a cost analysis. What's before us is acquiring a $10 million tax exempt loan. There's nothing on this paper or has never been brought to the board about issuing a bond. But if you do want to determine whether or not the savings is there for the $10 million tax exempt loan versus a bond, I would prefer that that information come from those who are very knowledgeable about it, which would be anyone other than within our county office. And that hasn't been stated other than maybe about a 5-minute discussion from someone from Susquehanna who came at an agenda meeting and suggested that we might want to do a tax-exempt bond for a tax-exempt loan for our TRAN note. There hasn't been any discussions, any meetings, and if there have been, I'd like to know where they were. The second thing is, it says again, the acquisition of a $10 million loan. What is the process that is going to occur? What is the process that is being presented to us today, presented to me as a county commissioner who needs to either vote for this or against it? What is the process in securing or seeking from a number of banks this $10 million tax exempt loan? What's the process?
Process is identical to that of floating a bond. A representative will go forth to the market, present what Fayette County is looking to do. The banks will give responses with the best rate of interest from the best bank, and that's what we will choose.
And who is that representative?
That representative is more than likely going to be Susquehanna Group, being that they're contracted with our county.
Okay, and I have a definite problem with Susquehanna doing this because each one of us commissioners received information from a local bank that says the Susquehanna Group, Sam Lynch, did not contact them for the, and was left out of the bidding process for the $9.5 million loan. And no one, and for me to receive a telephone call from a local bank that says that that bank was not called upon by Susquehanna Group to determine whether or not they could issue that $9.5 million is very disturbing, because the information that Sam Lynch was given by our chief clerk was more than 3 banks, and they were not all called. And so I definitely have a problem that I have to pick up a phone, and on the other end, a local bank saying, we did not get an opportunity to send in an opportunity to bid or to present a proposal for the $9.5 million. And when that individual asked Mr. Lynch, they were said, we were in a hurry, sorry, and we didn't think you could handle it. I have a definite problem with Susquehanna doing this on our behalf, at least by themselves.
Well, I would think that, and I would agree with you, that if Susquehanna is going to take the initiative, they should also provide us with a detailed list of those that they are soliciting for the loan. And I think that's doable, is it not, Mr. Lally?
Well, Commissioner Zabatowski, you and I
spoke with
directed them before this occurred to do that, and they did not do it. And we did it here at a meeting.
I remember, Commissioner, I was here.
Okay. So I have absolutely no faith in the group.
Did they provide us with the best rate of interest in the market?
How would you know if that bank was not given an opportunity to respond?
Did the bank that spoke with you send any kind of written documentation
You
saying
guys
that
have
we weren't?
documentation. He called me on the phone and he called the controller.
I spoke with, you're talking about Mr. McMillan?
Gosh.
Again, I would like to see the solicit, Susquehanna's list, and if this does advance.
Comment to the commissioners. The commissioners are in charge, not Susquehanna. We pay Susquehanna too much money to start with, and now they're making our decisions for us.
No, they didn't make the decision, Evelyn.
Yeah, they are.
No, they presented information that they presented information, excuse me, and the commissioners are the ones who made the final decision by a vote, 2-1.
And it's
The rest
selective
with us.
information that they're giving you.
Every time it's a proposal that you're not fond of, it becomes selective information. Numbers are being manipulated, this and that. What is being manipulated here,
And one
Evelyn?
company gave you what they think is right. What about the others?
And if
The
3
others were
companies
not
came in and they put out a proposal for a $10 million loan and all the other people responded, that would still be wrong.
No, that the point is that they were not, it was not given to the other banks.
That's the point.
What is the point, Mr. Chris? Everybody has an answer, but yet there's no point being made.
Mr. Lake, could you elaborate on the tax exempt?
The tax exempt?
That's tax exempt to the originator of the loan, not the borrower, right?
That's right.
That is right.
Okay, so, I mean.
A tax exempt status.
You throw that tax exempt out of everything.
Right, we're saving money.
But it's really not tax exempt.
What the
to us.
tax exempt status means is that the bank can go through the arbitrage with less risk, therefore passing that savings on to the Fayette County residents.
Okay, and one further question, could you elaborate on the terms of the loan? That would be interest rate, duration of loan, is it a fixed rate, is it a floating rate?
It is a fixed rate, amortized over 30 years. The rates can vary. I've had quotes from 2.8% to 3.8%. I have not exceeded 4% in any of the market searches that I've looked at with this particular type of a loan.
Okay, so would that be contingent upon where the 10-year is when you decide to borrow the money, pretty much?
Yes. It's like any loan that you would ever get. When you go to a mortgage broker and they say you need to sign today to lock in these rates for a period of time, that's the same way that these loans work. There is a period of time that they can guarantee that you will receive the rate that they quoted. After that time elapses, the rate goes to the market. Positive, it could go lower. Negative, it could go higher.
Thank you.
And the repayment terms, other than saying that it is 30 years over the life of the loan, what does the repayment terms on part of the county, what are they?
The repayment terms on the loan will be contingent and start when the first procurement is made, only on the portion that is used.
Okay, so let's, for argument's sake, say that $5 million is taken. Okay, when does that $5 million have to be paid back? Is it payment on an annual basis?
It's an annualized payment, that is correct.
So every year the county would be paying, what, at the end of the year, 12 months out of the year?
Whatever the
quarterly?
terms of the contract will be established, logic would predicate that you would pay after tax revenue is received.
Okay, so in other words, so this is not approving the acquisition of the loan. This here is approving and seeking some proposals from banks, and then it would come back to the commissioners for review. Is that correct? Or has this already been taken, negotiated already with the bank?
No, there's nothing that's been negotiated to my knowledge. Okay. This is a request for proposals for the $10 million loan, as I understand it.
Yeah, it doesn't say that. It says approving the acquisition of the...
It doesn't say that. It says the acquisition.
It's approving acquiring a $10 million loan.
That's what it says.
That's what it said.
Yep.
That's what acquisition means.
Yeah,
Right.
gotta be careful with this word.
And also, you lumped in that 10 million additions of the women's annex. At which address are you going to build the women's annex? Is it going to be built at 23 East Church Street, as this document shows, since you're lumping in with the money? No? Now, you haven't reviewed this yet, but yet you want more money to develop this further, which isn't
Well,
accurate.
we plan to build a women's annex.
In a flooded building? Christiana, what was the headline from the Herald today? I couldn't remember.
Well, I have a question. I have a question, and that is, how much of this $10 million loan would be used for it says women annex renovation?
We will know that when contractors bid, we have a competitive bid process.
Mid-January,
So,
it stated.
Well, where did you get the one, you publicly said that it would be, one time you said 100,000, then the other time you said 300,000. Where did you get those figures?
Those are engineering estimates based on reviews of the building conditions, what had to, the items that had to be put into the building to qualify it.
There was probably prepared for that interview. But Mary, I want to say Nancy, but I don't think that's the last name. Massetti, she sent in Friday the letter.
Kathy.
And she's already on the board.
Yeah, she's already on board, she wouldn't be reappointed.
She's under
Here's your
non-agriculture.
list. Here's the list
Yes,
that was
I know.
given, okay? No, there is no one for the Agricultural Land Preservation Board listed on this.
Mazzetti, I think that was her.
No
list.
one.
She gave me
No.
that was for the interviews.
Right.
Okay.
No one interviewed.
She sent a letter Friday. She wanted to be reappointed. I put it in everybody's mailbox.
Okay. Thank you. The answer, the statement though is that no one was scheduled on this list. No one sought to be appointed or reappointed to the Agricultural Land Preservation Board. So how you're going to...
Well, Ed Ringhoff.
Rico, right,
Ringhoff,
right,
he
he was
came in
here.
and interviewed.
That's right, Ed Ringhoff was here. And also Marianne, Grovitch was here.
Group,
Yeah, she was also here. And Ringhoff was here.
Ed Ringhoff came in and talked and asked about the, he was nominated for the Conservation District, not the Agricultural Land Preservation.
Amy, you recall that, was he for the Conservation District?
I know that was the name for conservation.
Okay, so it wasn't for that.
Well, why don't we just table?
I make a motion to table the appointments to the Ag Land Pres Board pending additional inquiry with the...
I second the table.
All those in favor? Motion carried.
Commissioner
Fayette County
Zandvoort, that was for
Transportation.
all of them? For all of them,
Yes.
agriculture?
Fayette County Transportation, consider a motion to appoint Chris Sparks to represent a persons with disabilities position board executive committee for a 2-year term, which expires Monday, January 1st of 2016.
Move.
The information on the website that Commissioner Ambrosini had is had the administrative assistant update. That term isn't even expired. It says Christopher Sparks. And it doesn't expire. But if you guys want to do it.
Is there,
And the date's wrong also, it's not January, it's December 31st. These things they do matter, the terms.
so Kathy is, I'll ask Kathy, and the chief clerk, is that in error? The transportation,
No, that's correct.
that's correct.
That's correct. He was on there, reappointed. He's being reappointed.
His term is not, according to the information here, his term
Yeah,
has not
Lori
been
called
expired.
me. Lori from the transportation and told me that his term is up.
Commissioner, since you're on this board of appointments, can I ask one question, please? You have a process where one has to send in by a certain date to be appointed to a board, is that correct?
Yes, but the process is not followed.
Oh, that was my question, because when this gal just said, hey, somebody made a phone call or an email on Friday, when was the process supposed to end?
It said it in the newspaper, it had all letters.
What was the date? Every year?
I don't know. It
And
said
Commissioner
all-
Ambrosini, can you give me a cutoff date for being an applicant to be on a board?
There's a lot of boards that, I'm not, whatever was advertised in the paper.
Well, Commissioner Zalakowski said it's just 2 now. Let's go to the third one. What is the cutoff date? If I want to be on one of your boards and I have to send my application, When is that cutoff date?
No,
It was 2 weeks. It was, actually, now that I'm thinking. it
The
was
date is
December 23rd.
determined, and it is written in the newspaper. But letters of interest have been accepted
after the deadline.
after the date, almost up even to the point of.
Well, it says, when we get a phone call on a Friday, because somebody's automatically on the board thinks they're automatically going to be read, there's no fairness to the public in that story.
No,
If you've got a cutoff date, and I have to submit an application, and I don't do that, I shouldn't be allowed to call on Friday and ask for that. It's good for one, it's good for all.
A lot of individuals assume, and I say this, and I'm just talking about my experience, that the agency in which they're the board of has sent their interest to be reappointed, and in some cases that does happen. I mean, I don't know, I use the restroom, but I don't know what you guys were talking about when I walked in, but in some cases, they assume that hypothetically, let's say the Fayette County Health Center, that Dan Visnauskas had sent their name in to be reappointed. And often that does happen. But in some cases,
I would think it should happen, not to automatically want to expect, because I'm sitting in this seat now, I'm going to be reappointed. We just had something going on here while you were gone. We got somebody being voted upon, his time hasn't even expired.
That, according to the information on the county website that was updated.
So you don't have no game plan.
well,
We have no
we're talking about
overall.
Mr. Sparks, are we talking about Mr. Sparks?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Lori called me.
Is his term expired?
Told me, yes, she did tell me that.
And that Mr. Sparks,
Was expired, yes.
when did she tell you that?
The beginning of last week,
And did he want to be reappointed?
yes. But in fact, I talked to him on the phone, he was supposed to come, and.
Oh, you did
it was
speak
on
with him,
Friday.
okay.
I did speak with him, and he had a doctor's appointment in an hour after his appointment, and he was afraid he wasn't gonna make it back to Greensburg. He wanted to be
But if the
reappointed.
cutoff date's the end of the year, I mean, nobody's giving me a magic number. Don't you tell me on the 20th of January, hey, I want to do this, because maybe there's a lot of other people that couldn't make that date that would also like to have that time extended.
That's
And
all
they
the
might have
letters.
afforded that.
That's all the letters that I got. I got 43 letters total. That's all the letters.
No, nobody's
Yeah.
can't touch me. It's an undertaking to handle these appointments. It's not easy, and I understand that.
And me, but I've heard previous, unfortunately, you were ill and you weren't able to attend. How many interviews in total were there in your offices?
43.
43, okay, very simple. How many did you attend commissioners at the cost?
Not one second.
Not one.
So I suffered I have a fracture in my back, my knee, if I go to the doctor to operate, plus my father's is.
You had a lot of personal problems.
Yeah, I
understand and respect that.
apologize.
But last year, it was kind of the same story. You weren't able to do the interview.
And I look at the letters of interest, you know most of these people.
Person to person's the way to look at anybody and judge. But you've answered my question, I appreciate that. Commissioner Ambrosini, how many interviews do you participate on that number?
About half, I think, my.
She's shaking her head no.
Assistant,
Your comrade's shaking her head no, so you're saying how?
about half, yeah.
And Angela, can you tell me how many you participated in? All of them.
All 43?
Now, guys, think about this.
All that is-
Anybody like me or anybody off the street wants to come in and offer their services. If you don't want to show up to look at them, and you don't care to only show up for half of them, but she shows up all of them, there's a problem with the mix there. You're not showing people the respect that they deserve to come in and offer their services if you don't want to, and you only got time for half of the shows with you. Even is good for all of us. You gotta keep that in mind. You're not performing that service.
I was not playing golf.
How do we know? How do we know that?
Well, it's wintertime for one thing.
Al, you can say whatever you want. The fact of the matter is, you weren't there. Al, you should be there. You should be there to hear every one of these people and their ideas, their dreams, and what they're willing to contribute. It doesn't tell you that on a piece of paper like conversation does.
They chose the dates for the interviews. Ask her an email, they chose the dates.
Okay, I'm done.
We're going to continue here.
That's part of your job.
There's a motion from,
I second the motion based on the information from Lori Grover Smith, who is the head of FAC, and to reappoint Chris. All those in favor?
I abstain.
Motion carries.
How did the, I mean, where did you get the information to tell you, Administrative Assistant Nicole to change those dates on the website?
Because the dates don't make sense.
I know,
because,
you just
you
put
know,
on there the
those-
wrong date.
No.
This is the date, this is the website right here, and
Well,
it
that
says on
date-
there.
That date came from Lori Grover Smith, I would assume.
She didn't, actually, she didn't say anything about the date. She just was telling me about the reappointment.
That it had expired or not?
That it just wasn't placed on the agenda, the agenda. I think she had to do the agendas about 5 or 6 times.
Did Lori Grover Smith state that his term had expired? Yes. There's been a vote.
Okay. Under the Fayette County Conservation District,
We have no one, Chief Clerk, I know you sent out the letters you stated. Do we have any nomination from any nominating committee for a public representative?
I believe it was previously stated that all the nomination letters were.
Yeah, we don't.
It was previously stated at another meeting, but again, we could have got something, yesterday. As of today, do we have any nominations from any?
Additional letters.
Okay, so therefore we can make a motion on that. You have no nomination letters for the public representative as of today, correct? Correct? And we have to receive one for that particular category from a nominating committee as well?
We actually have 2.
Not for the public representative. She just said we only had them for the farmers. All right? Now, is it also required to have, we already know that for the farmer representative and the other ones that they must be nominated through a nominating committee. Does the bylaws?
Farmer
also-
representative, I don't think commissioner does.
I know the commissioner representative does not have to, but does it have to be for the public?
No.
For a public representative? It does. I believe it does.
It does.
Okay. So we don't have one, so we can't act on it. Not for the public representative. So that one needs to be tabled. I move to table the motion to appoint a public representative to the Fayette County District Board, Conservation District Board.
Lack of a letter of recommendation pursuant to the guidelines, it has to be tabled.
Have a letter from a group.
Organization, so second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is the motion to appoint a commissioner representative to the Fayette County Conservation District Board for a 1-year term to expire Monday, January 1st.
That's to
2015.
expire, those conservation districts, all of these are to expire December 31st.
I'll make a motion to appoint Commissioner Alan Brazini.
I don't suppose I'll get a second for you.
No, you're not going to get a second from me.
Okay, second, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Nay.
Consider a motion to appoint a farm representative to the County Conservation District.
I make a motion to appoint Paul Diamond for a 4-year term to expire 12/31/17.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
I make a motion to appoint Daniel Komarinsky, Komarinsky, as a farm representative to the Conservation District for the remaining term, which is to expire 12/31/15.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Emergency Medical Services Board.
Make a motion to appoint Rick Abadata.
Second.
All those in
And
favor?
this is to expire 12/31/2014. I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Fayette County Planning Commission.
We actually have 2 positions and really, I believe only one person interviewed.
I make a motion, I know, to appoint Ed Andrea Fayette County Planning Commission.
Lifetime appointment.
And this would be to expire 12/31/17. That's why the letters need to go out, and it needs to be a little bit more than.
Lifetime appointment. 25 or 30 years for this guy.
Mhm.
Second, all those in favor? Aye.
Nay.
Motion carries.
Make a motion to appoint Kevin Lowry. I'm sorry?
No, go.
Is there an outstanding background based on what I read for a 4-year term?
Second, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
I interviewed him, and plus his letter, he never said that he was interested in the Planning Commission. He said his letter plus his interview with me said that he was interested in the Airport Authority.
Well, I just read his background, and I just thought it was, his background, I thought fit well for the Planning Commission as well. That's the only reason. And you read a very extensive background in planning and development.
Where do you see that?
Well,
There it is. There's nothing in there about that.
Oh.
He was a project manager for construction projects, heavy equipment, backhoe, excavator. Well, anyway, he's.
Yeah, I just thought it was planning, some
I have other name.
background on that. So.
Okay.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Okay, he indicated that he was willing to and available to serve on one of the Fayette County boards. He was most interested in the Airport Authority, but he was also interested in other boards.
Well, he sat right across from me in the conference room,
Well,
and the only thing he talked about, and I asked him, no one else was in the room, I'm sorry.
Well, it's in his
Nicole, were
letter.
you there? He didn't say the Planning Commission, and he
No,
said he
he
was
said one-
specifically,
he said-
he said the airport when he came in.
Yeah, he was mostly interested in the
Okay.
airport, but he said in his letter he would be willing to serve on one of the airport, or one of the Fayette County boards.
Did you talk to him about Planning Commission?
No, I didn't.
No, I'm asking Commissioner Ambrosini, did you talk to him about the
No.
Planning Commission?
No, I just read his letter.
Al, did you interview this man? Al, did you interview that man personally? Commissioner Ambrosini?
Sure.
You're not sure?
I could make comments on the planning commission.
No, you can't, we're in the middle of a business meeting, you can do it after, at the public comment.
Okay. I believe my administrative assistant
No, I was in the room with him.
interviewed.
Commissioner Zimmerman, was his administrative assistant with you during the interview?
Not that I recall, no. And the reason for it is because Commissioner Ambrosini had come into the office, not into the conference room, but into the office, and she had to bring him up to speed on what was going on. But I interviewed Kevin Lowry. You'd have to ask her if she was in the room because, I mean, there were like 43 people, she said. And he was very much interested in the Airport Authority.
There's a lot of people interested in that.
That's the only board that he spoke of when he sat across the table from me.
Al, that would be like me, a card guy wanting to play with airplanes that I know nothing about.
It's done. We're on Behavioral Health Administration.
Make a motion to appoint Phil Michael as citizen at large to the Fayette County Behavioral Health Administration.
For which one? We're at Citizen at Large?
Citizen at large, yes, ma'am.
Phil is,
Please speak a little louder, so we can
Is there,
I'm sorry, sir.
Phil, Commissioner Zabatowski made a motion for Phil Michael for the Citizen at Large category. Phil Michael presently is in the Community Representative category, so he's making a motion for a different category.
And the reason why is,
I don't know.
the reason why Mr. Michael used to be employed with Goodwill Industries, thus that fell under the community group. He no longer is employed by Goodwill Industries, thus would fit the citizen at large.
I'm going off of what Lisa Ferris Kuznar sent us. She sent us a letter, so. Okay, you made your motion.
Okay, second, all those in favor? Aye, motion
Nay.
carries.
And that's because I believe the Phil Michael should be in the different category as per the letter from Lisa Ferris Kuzma. I support Phil Michael to be on this board, but not in that category.
Well, the reason why he's a constable now and doesn't, I mean, it just that, in my opinion, Goodwill was a community group where a constable is not so much a community group. He's more a law enforcement official. Let's
move on.
I make a motion to appoint Joyce Rooster, Royster, for citizen at large for a 3-year term to expire December 31st, 2016.
Is there a second to the motion? Is there a second to the motion? Motion dies for lack of second.
She's a professional doctor.
Okay, I'll make a motion to appoint Vin Sabatowski as commissioner.
well, we got to still fill a citizen at large.
Okay, well, we can do that. Go ahead. I mean, okay, I'll make the motion to appoint Veronica Martin as citizen at large for Fayette County Behavioral Health Administration for a 3-year term to expire December 31st, 2016.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Nay, she did not come in for an interview, and I don't even see her name from the information that Lisa Ferris Kuznar has provided us. Her name's not on the list at all. She may not. It's been voted on.
She was here for the interview on Tuesday the 14th, 3:40.
No, she wasn't. When, what date?
The 14th, Tuesday at 3:40.
Are you saying that she was present? Or are you saying that she's listed on the list?
She's listed on my list.
Okay, and I'm telling you that she did not show.
She didn't show.
Right. And that's what I said, that she, and if you look at the list, it says 3:40, I have here no show, and that was for, she came in for health, either the health center or the planning office. So even if she would have came in, she didn't even ask to be placed on the behavioral health board. So did anyone talk with her? Did either of you two talk with her?
I think I might have a paper.
Did either commissioners talk with her on
I
that?
can't really remember if I talked to her or not, but her letter clearly states that she has some capabilities to be on this board. Okay.
She requested to be on the health center and the planning or the planning commission. She did not show for an interview, and her name is not listed or reviewed by the Fayette County Behavioral Health to determine whether or not she would have any conflicts of interest or anything else. But it's been voted on, so I guess we can move on.
Yes, sir.
Make a motion to appoint Reverend Saunders as the community representative to the Fayette County Behavioral Health Administration.
Second, all those in favor? Aye.
Nay.
Motion carries. I'll make the motion to appoint Commissioner Vince Sabatowski as Commissioner Representative to the Mental Health Fayette County Behavioral Health Administration Board for a 1-year term to expire December 31st, 2014.
Commissioner Sabatowski, are you accepting that nomination?
I will accept the nomination.
Well, I will say this, according to the information, how many,
I've not been a strong attender, that is correct.
have you attended?
I've attended two.
Two, right, and even like with the Connell. No,
The Connellsville issue, is that what you're gonna raise up?
no, I was gonna say the, another board, but,
The conservation, I'm off of that, so.
yeah,
It-
okay. Motion's been made.
Do you second that?
Yeah, second my motion.
So that,
what was it for?
all those in favor?
Nay.
Aye. Motion
Nay.
carries.
This is an advisory committee. The committee, board itself has no voting capability within the agency in question. It is strictly there to collect input from the director and to offer any advice, but it has no voting capability.
This is
You
mental
vote-
health.
No, you do vote at the meetings.
But
I
it-
was served,
it's-
I
know
served
you do.
there.
It's an advisory board, though.
These are very important board appointments.
Sure. On the regional trail?
No, we still have, well, the professional representative on the behavioral health.
I'm gonna butcher the last name, but Mary,
Gorlovich.
yeah, how do you pronounce it?
Gorlovich.
Orlovich?
Okay, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I
Motion
will
carries.
abstain on that. She did not come in for the interview either. Now, Kathy, I know you're going to say that she's listed at 1:40 on Tuesday, January.
Yeah, I wasn't in the meeting, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, you sent us an email and said that she's not coming in because she has the flu.
Okay.
So she didn't interview for the appointment, nor was her name taken through the process with the categories for the Fayette County Behavioral Health. So therefore, I abstain.
Okay, next item is Regional Trail Corporation.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Clarence Johnson for the Regional Trail Corporation for a 3-year term to expire December 31st, 2016.
Second?
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint James Johnson to the Regional Trail Corporation for a 3-year term to expire 12/31/16.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'd like to appoint Mike Edwards.
Motion dies for lack of second.
I'm sorry. I'd like to nominate Michael Edwards to the RTC for a 3-year term expiring January 2017.
Second. All those in favor? Aye.
Nay.
Motion carries.
Kathy, there's no letters from Mr. Edwards saying that he would like to be appointed or reappointed? Well, okay, I'm not going to ask you. I've not received any letters from him.
If I'm not mistaken, the regional trail,
Thank you.
Next item, Southwestern PA Human Services.
I'd like to nominate Jolene Howe to the Southwestern Pennsylvania Human Services.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion
I'm going to
carries.
abstain on that, and Jolene came in, and this was one time that the Commissioner Ambersini was present, and she told us that, what's so funny? I'm just referring-
You said the one time. I was present more than one time.
I said, this is one time that, okay, so, and she specifically, she is, do you recall the conversation where she said that she does not believe that she needs to be reappointed because the commission itself had made her a regular member and she was going to give us the information, so therefore I abstained. We're still waiting on that information. It should have been tabled.
Next item is the Workforce Investment Board.
I'd like to make a nomination for Jeff, under the business representative, Jeff Myers, to the Workforce Investment Board.
We're waiting. Okay.
Go ahead.
Nothing.
Second. All those in favor?
Nay.
Motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Mikkel Zimmerman and the business sector representative of the Workforce Investment Board for a period ending 12/31/16.
Just as a point of interest, I spoke with Bill Thompson this morning. We're required to appoint a member of the Department of Labor and Industry, and that appointment would fall under that, and that...
No.
Well, I spoke with him...
That's not what the letter said. It's the next one that's the Department of Labor and Industry.
The next one is L&I, or do we have under welfare?
Well, it should have never said welfare, it should say Department of Labor and Industry. The letter came from Bill Thompson and Dawn, whatever her last name is. The business sector of Mikkel Zimmerman.
That's fine, Mikkel Zimmerman is...
And she was approached according to the information, I believe, Nicole said in on this interview. She was approached by Bill Thompson.
Yeah, Mikkel Zimmerman, I spoke with, we mentioned Mikkel was liaison with Williams Pipeline, or the Williams Gas Company.
Chevron.
Chevron.
I made a motion to appoint Mikkel Zimmerman for the business sector representative of the WIB board for a 3-year term for a period ending 12/31/16.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Make a motion to appoint Frank Statsko, Statsko, and it should say for the Department of Labor and Industry on the Workforce Investment Board for a period of 3 years for a term ending 12/31/16.
Second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is the Fayette County Zoning Hearing Board.
Make a motion to appoint Andre Walters as a full-time member for the ZHB.
Yeah.
Second, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Nay, I interviewed him, he was the only one in the room, I think Nicole was there present too. He works at the Fayette County Housing Authority, but I don't believe that we should have,
Who's the deputy?
Huh?
Okay.
We need to have a better range of backgrounds and categories for the zoning hearing boards as well as the planning commission. Also, I don't believe in, okay. It's been voted on.
The next one, Deborah Morel, as an alternate member, Deborah Morel.
There's the full-time member.
No, they're actually
Oh, yeah.
according
It's
to...
on the, I'm just going on the agenda.
Yeah, I
here.
think that's in there.
What, the agenda's in there?
Is it all? I thought it was...
No, well, yeah, the agenda, there's in there. I think that we only have one full-time spot open. The other two people were appointed in previous years that are still in their term.
According to the website that you had your assistant update, it says Neil Brown, full-time to expire January of 2014. Doug Klingon, full-time for January of 2014.
No, Doug Klingon,
I know,
he's never attended.
I'm not talking about attendance, I'm telling you what it says on the here as far as positions that are vacant.
Okay, so in reality, there's only one alternative position left.
Alternate position.
Alternate, yeah, instead of full-time, it just goes to alternate.
No, I think we'll be revisiting this.
Yeah, we
next month.
may in
That's fine,
fact
but-
be.
And then we're gonna have big mix-up on resolutions again. Whatever. Do whatever you want. Make your motion.
Well, we have a motion already to fill one full-time slot.
Yeah, that's done.
That's done.
Let's fill the alternate, and then we'll table the full-time position until we figure out what's going on.
I have a motion to appoint Deborah Morella as the alternate position.
Second, all those in favor? Aye, motion carries.
Alternate position for a term ending when?
3-year term.
ending in 2017.
gonna
December
abstain.
31st, 2016.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. I'll make a motion to table the other full-time a member position until we resolve how many full-time positions there really are. There should only be 3. Have a second on that?
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye, motion carries.
For the Laurel Highlands Visitors Bureau, only one person sent in a letter of interest for that, and that was Muriel Nuttall. I interviewed her. She did come in, and she did express an interest to be reappointed. Given that situation, I'll make a motion to reappoint Muriel for a 1-year term to expire 12/31/2014.
Is this for the committee, or is this for the, this is where I think we may have some confusion.
This is as the commissioner representative to the Fayette County Laurel Highlands Visitors Bureau.
Okay, I will second that nomination.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. We're missing the hotel tax grant members.
That is not on here.
There's a few other ones that are missing on here as well.
Yeah, that's...
Which we have to revisit some of these.
Yeah, we'll do that. Next one. Next item is the Pittsburgh Regional Alliance.
You go to that every month. Nominate Commissioner Ambrosini. His attendance there, work with the Alliance has been very good.
Second, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
And that term is wrong as well.
Any public announcements? Public announcements, not comments.
No comment. It's a public announcement.
Okay.
Why not have a group of taxpayers come in?
That's actually not a public comment. I mean, that's not a public announcement.
You
So
can say that at the very next one. Public announcement is right now.
Okay, public comment.
Now public comment.
If you don't mind, and I do want to state, and I do apologize, but I do want to get to the hospital to be with my family. As I said earlier,
Good luck.
Thank you.
and I do apologize, and she'll think we're going to read somewhere on somebody's blog, but
Before you leave, what is wrong with John?
he's dying. Either way, my wife's sick.
Did it? Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate the effort.
I know we all don't agree a lot of times, but
We agree about these things.
life is life, and it's too short to begin with, and never forget that.
And you're only here on the visit.
Go ahead, Mr. Mazza.
No, wait till you leave, that's all.
If he can get his pad on, somebody want to help him?
Can we get that?
It's 11 minutes after 1. We do have a 1:30 meeting in this room, so I'll do
Well,
that.
it's short and sweet.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Do we have a solicitor's report?
Yes, we do. And that will be distributed to the commissioners today.
Excuse me, I couldn't hear what you said.
Yes, we do, and that will be distributed to the commissioners today for their review.
Oh, you mean that you just got it?
Yes.
On Friday, he said it would be, on Friday at the agenda meeting, Commissioner Ambrosini said that Ken Berkeley will have it for this coming week. So today's Monday, so.
Today's Tuesday.
I'm sorry, what did I say? I don't know.
Yeah, but Ken Berkeley told me in November that he would have it in December.
Well, it's here, so it's a moot point. I mean, let's...
No, it's not a moot point. We paid this man now all this money. Since when? When was he hired? Years ago, right? Couple years
June
ago?
of 2012.
2012, and this is
A year and a half.
2014. And we paid him all this money.
$4,000 a month.
And we finally, after 2 years, got a report. Now, are you comfortable, Mr. Ambrosini, with paying him? I assume he's gone now because his contract's up.
No.
And we won't.
His contract's
No.
not, he's still going to help us with the interview process for the solicitors that we're going to interview.
What?
Mrs. Mazel, on Friday at the agenda meeting, I made a motion to terminate the contract. I didn't garner a second. Commissioner Ambrosini stated that we need Ken Berkeley to assist in when we receive responses back from these RFQs. I don't believe we need Mr. Berkeley. I know that we don't need Mr. Berkeley to help on the interview process. That's my opinion.
Why? All these years Fayette County's been in existence and we've had a solicitor and we didn't have Mr. Berkeley to interview them. That's your job, Mr. Ambrosini. Yours,
No, it's all three of our jobs.
I was going to say that, and Ms. Simmerlink and Mr. Zapatosky. Obviously, you're not doing your job. You keep handing off your job to other people to do. I mean, you're just creating a job for this man. Be honest about it. Are you comfortable paying this man all this money? When he comes to Fayette County and does, I don't know what he does.
Actually, well, he's our chief solicitor until we reorganize our solicitors department. And to be quite frank with you, Mrs. Mazza, Mr. Berkeley is costing us less money than if we would have just kept our past chief solicitor.
That's actually incorrect.
I was going to say that's not correct. That's not correct.
It is correct.
It is not correct.
Because we're paying him $4,000 a month. There's no other costs. You know, for example, our full-time solicitor previously, we paid him, I think it was $4,400 plus plus health care benefits, which was about an additional $17,000 a year.
Please make sure that before this, somebody has to go, okay, let me back up. A lot of times this information is just said and it's not confirmed,
right.
Okay? Now, it's very easy to just look at the past budgets and audits to see exactly what the chief solicitor was paid as far as the salary, which would have been Joe Farron's, and then what his health benefits were. Okay, a year and a half, we've paid in 18 months $72,000 for Ken Berkeley.
Which is a far cry from what Joe Farron's earned, even with his health benefits.
It's not.
Joe is full-time, not part-time. That's the difference. You could call on Joe anytime for that money. This guy, Berkeley, you only pick and select him when you need him for forecast. Joe is an on-hands, go-to guy. You would get a much better service with Joe Farron than you are now.
We don't have any full-time solicitors.
That's,
we don't now, and we didn't before.
but whose problem is that?
No, if you pick up the phone for any one of them, they will, even though they have their own business, okay, they respond, okay. John Cupp and Cheryl Hyde does, if you call them, they get back to you within a very, and so did Joe Farron's, the county solicitors. They might not be quoted as being a full-time, because they do have their own practice, but you call them, and within that day, you do get a response back.
Shouldn't the controller know how much the chief solicitor used to make?
I believe he was paid $4,300 a month plus medical benefits. I'm confirming that now. So he would have been a greater cost than what we currently are incurring.
But you get more.
He wasn't paid, but it's what the salary was, not the $4,300. I mean, it sounds better saying $4,300 a month. I mean,
Are benefits a tangible cost to an employer?
I'm talking about wages. I'm not
Salary. Wages and benefits a cost.
We're just talking about a salary right now.
I am too. You can't isolate the two events.
Yeah.
If I have an employee and I pay them benefits, that is a tangible cost.
I asked you what his salary was.
I'm looking. It's coming up here.
Okay.
He's a part-time guy from a different county, does not understand our problems. He was politically picked to come down here. He wasn't chosen from the phone book. Alan is a friend of yours in Mahoney's. He was chosen to come here for that reason, not his expertise and not his care for our time. So far, he's produced a zero.
First of all, that's not true.
Well, but that's his opinion.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, that's his
That's
opinion.
fine, but that's
It's
not
also
the case.
my
I think
opinion.
Thank you, ma'am. The person who he's produced zero. Nothing.
that's your opinion.
I'm self-employed. If I had to pay that man, he'd have been fired. And on that subject, you got two things here. Ken Berkeley needs to go. He's done nothing.
Amen.
No question about it. You're wasting our money with him. Hire one of these people from our county, cop, whoever it may be, let them do their thing, and let's move along. Quit paying the political friend from Westmoreland County money because he's out of a job.
Okay, that's,
Please, we only have 10 minutes.
Okay.
okay. We
I
have
agree with
12
what
minutes
he's-
before the
I don't
next
know
meeting.
him, but I agree with him. Berkeley.
We
He
have 12
brought me
minutes, we're
here
gonna
to
make
give
it
him
short
a
and
job
sweet.
because he lost his job in Westmoreland County. And I've been telling you all along, we need a Fayette County attorney sitting here, not him. And he got the job because he's a friend of yours. You've created many jobs for your friends. That's your main goal, Al, is to...
I never even knew the man before I took this job.
And you've created jobs for your friends. That's the only job you've brought to the county is for your friends. And
Okay,
when you
that's,
open your mouth, you only confirm what the people are saying
Mrs.
about
Mazza,
you.
you're getting
They're
personal
telling-
here. There's no place in this meeting for those.
The
type of
meeting
comments.
is over.
No, it's not.
The business part is over. The business part is over.
It's still-
But I
it's still
have a
county.
question.
There wasn't.
Are you really seriously considering Iowa Street as a site for the women's prison?
Yes. Yes, it's a consideration.
You need to go see one of those psychiatrists you're talking about that you're gonna have.
Oh, Mrs. Mazza, please. First of all, the men's annex is in the floodplain. It's even lower elevation than the Iowa Street
So let's not make
property.
the same mistake twice. Yeah, let's not do the same mistake twice then.
Because we did it once.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mary
we made a
Beth?
mistake
But the
once,
men's
let's
annex
make
was
it
never
again.
flooded out.
Commissioners, did you receive a letter from Karen Sharp, the one who wrote the letter to the paper that was Friday, the former employee of the employment office? She sent you all three a copy of her letter concerned about how many times that building flooded.
I received a letter from her about a week before it got into the newspaper, and she also called and said that she sent it to the other two
Right.
commissioners, so I received it.
And did you,
Well, you have to ask him.
Commissioner, did you receive the letter from Karen Sharp regarding her concerns with the Iowa Street issue?
I'm sure I did.
And did you receive Julie Toy's email that she sent Sunday night at 9:20, 8 p.m.? You probably haven't opened it yet. Regarding the square footage issue at Iowa Street.
I read the email this morning because you just said she sent it Sunday
Yeah,
night.
there was a late. Now, my other question, did you sign a lease yet with Gallatin Capital Partners for Iowa
It's
Street?
still in negotiations.
Okay, so then you're still planning on using Iowa Street, even though it's going to be a floating
Well, if we can
annex?
negotiate.
You're
we
still
can
gonna use
negotiate
that
an
site?
agreement. If we can negotiate
Correct.
acceptable
You still-
agreement, we may
Well,
still use it.
despite today, Ms. Yager, I didn't bring my copy of the paper. You wrote the article on the cover of today's paper. Do you recall what the title was? I mean, I can't remember. I honestly can't remember what the title, the byline was.
Prison sunk or something.
Prison plan sunk.
Yeah, something about the plans are sinking, and it showed pictures of the flooding, and it had a map of the flood zone, the active flood zone. That area is in a flood zone. The FEMA
Half the
maps.
city of Uniontown's in the flood
Yes, the
zone.
Yes,
why
but
put
we're not
was in
putting
there?
a prison in.
Why put there, there's mold in that building, there's asbestos in that building. In Crabtree's drawings, it
First
says
of all,
if they find,
I don't think that is correct.
what we will see, in that plan, Crabtree's plan, it says if asbestos is found, we must remove it.
Mary Beth, when was the building built, do you know?
Like, it was erected in
1971.
1971 is the cornerstone. 1971. It is, I have,
Okay, and I'm
okay,
pretty
now,
sure that there was no asbestos in put in any buildings after 1970.
it was in there because the lady's letter referred to it. the employees.
I'm not sure that she's a,
Oh, wait a minute, Al. She is qualified. She was the person who was in charge of the actual building. She knows the building inside out. If you read your letter,
Yes.
it's eye-opening.
And the photos that I have there, are just all the articles.
And she's willing to talk with you. As a matter of fact, she's asked for some reply from you.
Yes.
I spoke with her the other day. She called me and I spoke with her and she told me that she was truly concerned about this. And she really sent the letter to the three of you because all the information is not out there and it needs to be out there. There are also electrical conduits under the flooring. And she said that that has flooded before. They've had to replace the electrical conduits quite often.
She qualified that.
Yes,
Okay, did
she said they
qualify
may
it
have
because-
changed
Yeah,
some of
she
this.
said it may have changed.
And she said she doesn't know if it's changed or not, but somebody needs to check into these things. The other thing, if you look at that place, and Mary Beth's pictures show it, it's below the water line. There's no reason to put that place there.
It used to be on a knoll, and they dug a hole to put the building there.
Right, and they did that on purpose because they wanted to make it handicap accessible. So the lady was talking about, they used to bring in their waiter boots.
Right.
Because they had to go in to get the stuff off the tables.
42
The
inches.
letter was given to all of us.
And it's a very good letter.
And they
Please read
painted
it.
over asbestos ceiling tiles. Now, I doubt that the kindergarten people removed that asbestos when they opened it up. But my other thing is, I have spent over $60 on my on all the stuff there to put up, to laminate it, to copy, go to Staples. Countless hours of research at the library, going through microfilm, microfiche. And I examined Crabtree's plans with a there's such small print, just like everything else at Penn State was. I had to use a magnifying glass to read it. And I was able to find out all the mistaken addresses. 23 West Church, not 32 Iowa. Why have not you, commissioners, or whoever else is involved, done your research like I have, to find these things, yet you're forging ahead to put it in the flood zone?
Because on January the 10th, I asked for the documents.
Right, you never got
I
them.
already said that five or six
But if you're
people-
planning to put 54 women in bunk beds, they're gonna be bunk beds, because there's not enough space. And the square footage is shorter, because they're gonna have barbed wire fence, they're gonna have a little place for the chapel visiting area. The women are gonna be on 54 to, maximum 54 women, that's 27 bunk beds to have the women. Now, you're gonna put it in a flooded building that I have the latest picture of 2011 flooded. Now, what is wrong? I have the picture that no one else has, that I showed you, 2011, that building reflecting itself in the water. It flooded in 2011. It flooded in 2003. Yet why can't you find another building in town? Why are you obsessed with that building? What is the connection with that building? One story?
we've advertised.
No, the Senate, the Johnson Funeral Home building offered to rent that for $1,500 a month. You could just use the first floor. It's 2-story, you could just use the first floor. Why does it have to be one floor?
Because that building didn't have enough square footage on it.
Oh, you could add, for the money you're gonna put in $300,000 in a flood zone, come on, it is laughable.
There was a lot of other things that we would have had to do a lot of the same things.
Why don't you just use Central School, it's higher, at least.
Well, all
That's even worse.
because the team leader, the architectural team leader, Jim Killinger, came to a meeting and he suggested the Iowa Street. If we discussed it here at the meeting, I was adamant that we would do a bid. So they did bid, but they narrowed it down to a one-story.
Right.
Their sites were already set on 32 Iowa Street, which was a one-story building. So we said we were going to bid. But it never said that it was going to, the bid specs would say one story only.
Correct.
But this is what always happens. You have resolutions here that are not clear, okay? And it's not the chief clerk's fault. She writes I'll give her credit for it. She puts on here what's said. It's how the resolution is passed. And many times it's unclear and leaves it open. They go back and they write it and they designate a one story. How many buildings in Uniontown do you know that are one story? And then we're told, well, that's a requirement. Well, I did ask Ken Berkeley and John Cup sent something. He sent back and said it was not a requirement. So when you narrow the selection down, now you know what happens.
And DOC, did they approve that building?
Well,
Somewhere
according to what is printed in the paper, they print exactly what is
Right,
said, but we
right.
don't know whether or not
Right.
they approved or not approved, because we don't have any documentation to show that they either approved or didn't
And
approve.
did you know, Commissioner?
Well, let me answer
I
some of
wish
those
I had that
questions.
documentation.
First of all, Mary Beth, the DOC actually came to the building and looked at it.
Who was it from the DOC? Was that the
Well,
day
they
you
looked at it,
inspected
did they
the jail?
approve or not approve?
Was it that one
I'm
man
told
that
that they
came?
they give recommendations,
They
they
do.
don't quote approve.
And they didn't probably have the knowledge that this woman provided to us today also.
I mean,
I
the
mean,
same
this is
people
in
were
depth.
telling,
Was it that gentleman whose photo was in the Herald-Standard that took a tour of the
Sure.
prison?
No,
That
that's.
wasn't him.
we need the document that DOC said that they approved the building,
Correct.
because I don't know that
They
they
weren't
approved the
aware, they
building.
probably weren't even told it was a flood zone.
The DOC met with the architect and told them that what they needed to do to comply to make it a.
Sure.
That's not approving the building.
They don't actually give approval, they tell you what we
Well,
need.
you just said that they approved it.
And the main thing
Well,
that
that's
was
not
on
the
there
worst part is, they
ADA.
didn't even know about the floodplain.
Correct.
They don't know that.
They need to know.
Well, it's
They
on its
need
way,
to know.
it's on its way, it's been sent.
It has to be
It all-
sent,
everything-
because to me, this is really bad.
With DOC, when they were asked to come on site, from what I understand, of course, they will give their recommendations, okay? And that's it. But what is set up here is, oh, well, and other places are, DOC approved it. And then, of course, the paper's going to print what is said, but the point is that I don't believe that they approved it, because there's no documentation that says that they approved
There's
it.
a-
They
there's
wouldn't
another
approve
problem,
something. That's
too.
not within their guidelines and their jurisdiction to approve.
To me, I still want to know why this building is something that we just have to have.
We don't have to have it.
Well, yes, we do, Al, you've made up your mind.
We have to have a way to save the county
No,
money.
no,
on an
no,
interim
don't go
basis.
there, don't go there.
Then
Don't
it's
go
not
there.
a building, then we need to.
How'd you arrive at $45,000 more than it was assessed value?
And worse than this, who are the people that they call the Gallatin
Capital
Partners?
Partners.
The Gallatin Capital Partners.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody is saying, who are these people? There's only one name on there, so why do we have partners? Who are we
Who you
selling?
negotiate with, Al?
Who is this going with?
Well, it's coming out who they are, the letter has been sent for that.
Well, and the
information.
other thing also, the other thing is that there was no discussion on whether or not to offer for purchase. That's the other
Right,
thing.
and Mr. New, I was
No
trying to get rid of
approval at a
wants it
meeting,
down
nothing.
147 now, and yet you want to pay 225.
Well,
And
Who agreed on the $45,000 more than the assessed value?
he knows it flooded,
That's what I'd like.
everybody knows it
but
flooded.
he claimed that it never flooded since he owned it.
Well,
Which is
yeah.
what he
Offered
claimed over.
$45,000 more than the assessed value for that building.
And whoever assessed it didn't realize it's in a flood zone
Right,
either.
right. Now, my last question is,
Actually,
It was assessed at $180,000, you
No,
offered
that's what it was.
$225.
no, sir, that's what it was purchased for. I think it's
No, no, that
assessed.
was,
it was
I think
redone, it was in
that
today.
was assessed
Yeah,
at
it was in
$180,000.
Well, it was originally assessed at 300,000, and I'm not sure where it stands right now.
No,
because
300,000 was what they paid to build that place in 1971. That's where the 300,000.
It's all on the
But actually,
documents.
that's what it was assessed at after it was purchased by Mr. Newberg.
Then it was lowered, the assessment
It's
was lowered.
lowered.
He appealed that, and I'm not sure.
No, not that part, it was lowered again. It was either on Julie Toy's letter that she
It was
sent to
lowered to
you.
180 and now
Go upstairs.
147
Yeah.
they're going
No,
for.
it's not 140. No,
They're
it's not.
going for 147.
The newspaper stated it was assessed at $180,000.
Yes.
And that's what that's what the documents state.
And the document stated, but there's a court case
They're
going
talking
in.
assessed. They're talking assessed.
You ask, and I'm not saying that this is where the women's annex is going to be, but Mary Beth, you asked a very pertinent question. Why? Evelyn, why? $126,491.74 every month on average.
Oh,
is
we
what
get
they say.
that, we get that, yeah.
Now you're telling me the numbers are fake. I love
No,
this.
use another building.
Well, hey, Sean, one thing about your numbers, one thing about them. The women that are incarcerated Are they really heavy criminals? Are they dope smokers? Are they
Prostitutes.
correct? Minimum.
I'm not a member of the court.
Can you guess?
My job as controller
But
is
just
to
think of
tell
it this
you
way.
what we spend.
If you would
That's what we
remove
spend.
all the non-violent criminals out of the system and what the judges overflow us with, you wouldn't have overcrowding to begin with in this county. They're picking on 10 and 12-year-old bench warrants, and look at the men and senator pleading in front of us. Child support, and they're throwing an adult guy in a prison for 6 months for child support? That ain't right. You
Last
know
I checked,
it.
Terry, I don't have a law degree, I don't
Well, but
incarcerate
it's
people.
not right. That made me a really heartfelt plea to everybody in this room. And you gotta think, I don't like prisoners. I don't like deadbeats. I've said it all along. There's a guy there to serve this country, come to this meeting, spoke like a professional, calm, he gave us all his experience. How come, he asked a major question, how come nobody's helping nobody now? Why, when the new building arrives, is everybody gonna get help? Is it gonna be Xanadu? It's not.
Because the new building is called the Fayette County Rehabilitation
All
and
of
Justice
Justice
Center.
and-
Now,
and
if
it's
you was
not
having your
done.
office, it's a bad day in government. Egos and politics have taken over normal and common sense approach. That's what's happened here, not just recently, it's been going on for decades, but it's really brought to a boil. And what you've brought out of this community, out of this prison, you've wakened a sleeping giant. Because you want to throw our money away on things that are not needed or pertinent to this community. We could spend a lot of money doing a lot more good in this county than worrying about deadbeats and losers. Period. I've said that before to you. You can try to rehabilitate these people, and God bless you if you even want to think about it. But it's been tried for 100 years. The building doesn't matter. Put the most worst criminals in that jail. Let the dope smokers and the little insequential people out of the program. The only people that profit on this whole deal are the lawyers and the system in this community. Taking advantage of little nobodies.
And the politicians.
You need to take
Oh,
that
I'm
argument
benefiting from this at all.
to the Court of Common Pleas. You need to take it to the president judge.
I would love to, Al, but you know something, our judges aren't open to conversation.
The prison board can also make those recommendations to the court.
Everybody's crying about a prison falling down. How come the prison has been let to fall down? Me,
It's
you own a
not
house.
falling
When it's a
down.
leak
It
in the
is
roof,
not
we fix the
falling
leak.
down.
When the walls need painting, you paint the walls. You're not doing nothing over there. You're letting it run into the ground to paint a picture to us that the place was falling down and the sky's thunder. Forget that. This is smart.
Just like the Uniontown High School.
There you go.
They did the same thing with the high school. They said they had to tear it down and rebuild because it was in disrepair.
Add the hospital to that with the new annex that
Right.
they didn't need.
You put a new place.
They want a new prison and they're gonna give it no matter what.
Can I interrupt? Now, far be it from me to ask that we end the public comment. However, there is a meeting, there is a rezoning that has been legally advertised for 1:30.
And you better take care of it.
So we do need to take care of it.
Did you know that Jim,
And I'm not rushing anyone off, I'm just saying. No.
Thank you for letting us all speak to you.
Officially adjourned. With medical insurance.
I don't need to cut you off. I just still don't know.